Do you agree with the categorization that it's a genocide?
I actually, when I look at the damages, when you look at the total number of the people that have been killed over time in Nigeria, and they are killed defenseless in villages, sleeping in their homes, then what can you call this, for God's sake?
You think there's a genocide?
I think it's actually pure genocide, because you just come and kill people.
I'm not going to make that mistake again. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Everyone watching me from across the world, welcome to a Nigerian perspective with Frank Stephen, your amazing host. And we are going to have a very interesting show. Thank you, everyone that is present here. I really appreciate everyone watching me. Please, you know the usual, guys. Smash the like button, destroy that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. Share the link to this. Let everyone all across the world know that we are live and we are ready. 17 of us. Let's have 17 likes on this video. And also, you know, the one in the live chat. Let all the reaction. Let them just be flowing in the air. Floating and flowing in the air. We have something interesting for everyone. So please, smash the like button and share the link to this live stream to everyone that you know, everyone that you have their contact on your WhatsApp, on your Discord, wherever it is. Just share it. Let everybody know. Okay, we are live and we are talking about something important. Okay, something very, very important. Trump is not playing. Okay, he is not playing. He is not messing around. The United States is not messing around. It is becoming increasingly clear. Though some people want to pretend otherwise when they're talking about the genocide of Christians in Nigeria and what they intend to do about it, what Trump has said he intends to do about it, he is not joking. They are not bluffing. We are getting reports to show that indeed this is not a joke. This is not any kind of bluff. This is real. It is real, guys. You know, we may get the first attack from the United States anytime soon. That is how real it is, okay? And that is what we'll be talking about today. So once again, for the umpteenth time, please smash that like button. Destroy it, especially the one in the live chat. Let the love flow in the air, like I always say. And share the link. Share the link to everyone that you know. And most importantly, send me money. Do like James just did. You say, thank you, Frank. It is Frank's day again. And thank you, James, for the $10 super chat. I'm sounding like a professional radio host today. I went for training. I did not. I guess I'm getting good at this anyway. And it's something like that. Who knows? Well, all right, guys. I believe that many more people will come in as we continue to smash the like button and do all the needful. We are 23 now. I believe by the end of this live stream, we'll be 150. All right, guys. So the best place to start with regards to this live stream is to start with this meme. This is a meme that has become popular that has been shared among many Nigerians on Twitter. That is the meme we'll start with. Let me share my link so that everyone can see it. All right, this is the meme. Okay, here you have a cartoon image of Donald Trump with a torch in his hands, and he's holding the torch to the butt of the Nigerian government. This is the caricature of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And then because the torch is on his behind, he's holding the torch to the Nigerian army. And then the Nigerian army is to the behind of the Nigerian army, and the Nigerian army is pointing their gun at the bandits. This has become a popular meme in Nigeria. It is demonstrating how the pressure from Donald Trump is putting pressure on the Nigerian government, and that is also, and the Nigerian government is now putting pressure on the Nigerian army, and the Nigerian army are now ready to fight the bandits. Now, the funny thing about this meme is this is the theory of what is supposed to happen in reality, like in a perfect world. In a perfect world, we will not need the United States to mount pressure on our own government. I guess in a semi-perfect world, this is what is supposed to happen, where pressure from external pressure is going to mount on the government, and the government is going to do the right thing. But that's not what we are seeing. Yes, the government of the day in Nigeria is under pressure, under serious pressure to do something about Islamic terrorism and the persecution of Christians, but they are not doing anything about it. Somehow they'll rather, in fact, this is what is happening. Trump is mounting pressure on the Nigerian government, and the Nigerian government is mounting pressure on their propaganda apparatus across the world. Like they're going all over the world right now, spreading propaganda instead of dealing with the issue, straight on. So that's what is happening. For those who don't understand what all of this is about, you're still wondering, what is Frank talking about? All right, let us make it plain. Let us hear from Donald Trump himself. He delivered this address at the White House, I think last night, or probably this morning. This is how many minutes ago? This was done 11:13 p.m. Yesterday. So let's pay attention to what the President of the United States has to say. It's something that he has said before on Truth Social, but here he's making it as an address. So let's pay attention to that.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands and thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I am hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern. That's a legal definition. When the Christians or any such group is slaughtered, like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. What horrible numbers. Something has to be done. I am asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and to report back to me. And I mean, like, immediately. The United States cannot stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and numerous other countries. It's not only Nigeria, it's all over. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world. This is not going to happen. The killing of Christians is not going to happen.
All right, that is from Donald Trump, but that is a strong statement from the President of the United States. Of course, he has tweeted something, just the exact thing, but, minus all the extras that he keeps adding whenever he's reading from a teleprompter. So, yeah, that is the statement from the President of the United States. And it continues. There is another one, still from the same address. There is another one.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns are blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. These are cherished people. These are great people. Leave them alone. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast before it's too late. If they don't, there's going to be hell to pay. If the Nigerian
All right, that is from Donald Trump. And some people have pointed out that in all of his address about what is going on in Nigeria, he hasn't mentioned the president of Nigeria by name. He hasn't addressed him by name. People are even wondering online, does he know that we have a president in this country? Or is he just like ignoring him? I don't know. Maybe that's just how he chooses to address the Nigerian government. Now, of course, he had made similar tweets before. We already see those tweets. We've already seen them. So he has made similar tweets in the past before. And now he's making it into a speech, an address delivered from the White House. So this is official. It is official already that Nigeria has been designated a country, has been redesignated a country of particular concern. Now there are, what is now in place is sanctions that is going to be placed on various government officials in Nigeria. There's a bill that has been introduced in Congress that would sanction 12 state governors in Nigeria who are governors of the states in Nigeria where Sharia law is being enforced. So there are like 12 sanctions against them and other organizations, including organizations like Meiti Allah. Visa ban, US visa ban is going to be issued. There's plans of issuing visa ban against those governors and against Meiti Allah. So it's very interesting stuff. Let's look at some of them so that you know I'm just not speaking off the top of my head. This is something that is actually going on. This is from Punch News. In case you missed it, US lawmakers urges sanction on Meiti Allah orders over alleged religious violations. Okay, the United States House of Representatives has urged the Departments of State and Treasury to impose targeted sanctions on individuals and organizations, including Meiti Allah Cattle Breeder Association of Nigeria and Meiti Allah Kutal Hall, over alleged violation of religious freedom in Nigeria. This is contained in a resolution introduced before the House on Tuesday and cited by Punch Online from the U.S. Congress website on Wednesday. Recall that Trump, in a post on Truth Social over the weekend, declared Nigeria a country of particular concern and threatened to make military action if the country did not stem the alleged killings of Christians. Filed on HRES 860. In the 119th Congress, the resolution submitted by Representative Christopher Smith and Representative Paul as a co-sponsor commends President Trump for redesignating Nigeria as a country of particular concern. The sponsors decried the alleged worsening persecution of Christians and other religious minorities. They cited a catalogue of findings and reports that informed the measure, including media accounts and NGO data alleging large-scale attacks on civilians, destruction of places of worship, and a pattern of impunity. The resolution reads in part, for over a decade, Islamic terror organizations have carried out mass murder, rape, kidnappings, and other atrocities targeting mostly Nigerian Christians and non-Fulani moderate Muslim population, resulting in mass displacement and destruction of places of worship. Prominent Christian and Muslim leaders have been kidnapped or assassinated, including priests, pastors, and imams who advocate for religious tolerance. Religious leaders such as Father Remigius and Bishop Wilfred, who testified on 12 March 2025 at a hearing of the House Foreign Affairs Committee about the persecution and targeted killings of Christians in the Diocese of Makurdi, have faced intimidation, threats, and harassment from both extremist groups and government authorities. Supporters of the measure argue that the CPC redesignation will strengthen diplomatic leverage to press Nigeria for accountability and protection of religious minorities. The designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern will enhance diplomatic effort to encourage the Nigerian government to take necessary necessary actions to protect religious minorities and uphold fundamental human rights, they said. They therefore moved that President Donald Trump acted appropriately and decisively to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern and hold the Nigerian government accountable for all its complicity in religious persecution by radical Islamists such as Boko Haram and Fulani terrorists. They further recommended conditioning U.S. foreign assistance on demonstrable steps by Nigeria to prevent prosecute alleged perpetrators and care for displaced population. The State Department should provide immediate humanitarian assistance directly to faith-based groups to support internally displaced persons in Nigeria's Middle Belt states. Exactly. These people in the Middle Belt states are the ones that we really, if the Nigerian government is really interested in dealing with the problem of insecurity, then the people in IDP camps, the people who have been driven out of their homes because of what is happening in their area, people who now have to live somewhere else, people who are living in abject poverty because of the place their living condition in IDP camps, because of what is happening, the insecurity, those people should be able to return back to their homes. They should be able to return back to their villages. They should be able to continue living their lives back in their ancestral land. They should be able to reclaim the 102 communities in Benue State that have been occupied by Fulani militias. If these people cannot return to those communities, if those communities cannot be renamed back to the original names that they used to bear before the Fulanis took over forcefully through slaughtering and atrocious human crimes against humanity. If that cannot be reversed, then the Nigerian government is not serious. And yes, aid should be conditioned on that. The State Department should provide, the United States, through the Department of State and Department of Treasury, should impose targeted sanctions, including visa bans and asset freezes under the global Magnitsky framework and other restrictive measures on individuals and entities responsible for severe violation of religious freedom in Nigeria, including sanctions against Mighty Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria and Mighty Allah, this whatever that is, and should place Fulani ethnic militia operating in Benue and Plateau State on the entities of particular concern list under the International Religious Freedom Act. The resolution reads. The resolution also asks for the U.S. to justify the purposes and amount of recent security and development assistance to Nigeria and to tie future support to improved human rights outcomes. The resolution was referred to the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Judiciary Committee for further consideration. If it advances out of committee, the resolution will mark a clear congressional signal backing Donald Trump's CPC decision and could open the door to further legislative or executive action. Meanwhile, Punch Online had earlier reported that the federal government said the United States designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern over alleged violation of religious freedom is based on the wrong perception of the country's security challenges. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, stated this on Wednesday in Abuja while addressing journalists. The fact that the Nigerian government is still insisting on this lie that, the United States, they are mistaken. There's nothing of such really happening. Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society where everybody lives in peace and harmony. There is no, persecution of Christians. The security situation in Nigeria is complex and convoluted, and it's not just as simple as Muslims killing Christians or killing people, non-Muslims. As long as the Nigerian government keeps saying this, then they are not serious. That is the reality. They are not serious. If they are serious with the problem that is happening, they will stop lying. The first step to addressing a problem is admitting that there is a problem. When you have a government that is unwilling to do that, then you have a government that is unwilling to solve the problem. Idris said the U.S. position stemmed from misrepresentation and misinformation about Nigeria's internal security situation. According to him, terrorism and violent crimes in Nigeria do not target any particular religious group. Interesting. See, as long as that statement is being made, then you should know that the Nigerian government is not interested in solving the problem. According to him, terrorism and violent crimes in Nigeria do not target any particular religious group. Nigeria faces long-standing security challenges that have impacted Christians and Muslims alike. Any narrative suggesting that the Nigerian state is failing to take action against religious attack is based on misinformation or faulty data, Idris said. So instead of trying to do something to deal with the security problem, instead of trying to do something to address the situation, the Nigerian government is hell-bent on making arguments about whether the characterization of what is happening is actually a targeted persecution and killing of Christians, or if it's just not targeted but random. That is what the Nigerian government would rather waste their time and energy on. Arguing over terminologies, arguing over framing, arguing over use of a particular use of language. Trump himself has decided not to dabble into that game that the Nigerian government that game that the Nigerian government want to play, the game of terminologies. That's why he himself have not used the term genocide, but he has said that there is an existential threat that Christians are facing. And you can see from the resolution that is being proposed in Congress that they recognize that even Muslims are being targeted. So can we, enough with all it is not just Christians, it is Muslims, it is random, it is whatever. Are Christians dying? Yes. Are Muslims dying? Fine, they are dying. So what are you going to do about this insecurity problem? You can see that the Nigerian government is unwilling to do anything about it. That's why they are stuck on arguing over how this is being framed. And of course, you already know my position. The framing by the United States government is accurate. The framing by everybody who is calling this a genocide is accurate. Okay, if we have gone past denying the fact, like Nigerian government accepts the fact that there is actually people are actually dying in their country. People are actually dying and it's an everyday occurrence. The Nigerian government is not denying that. It's the framing now that, oh, what shall we call this? That is what they are, because they would rather spend their energy on that than actually solve the problem. This is from a report from a congressman talking to Fox News about Trump's designation. Let's pay attention to that.
But you're with the Armed Services Committee. Would you support U.S. troops going into Nigeria?
No, you bet I would. 62,000 Christians killed in Nigeria, 100,000 killed in Africa, 18,000 churches burned. Now, there's a lot of evidence there, and that's probably an underestimate, John, but we cannot allow this to happen to people that can't defend themselves. It's just absolutely insane. If we need to get involved in something like this, Trump could end that in a heartbeat. This wouldn't be like going into Russia or China or North Korea or Iran. This would be going and helping innocent people that would be able to take back over their country. It's a shame something like this happened, but we can't overlook it. We can't underestimate it.
But you're with the Armed.
All right, so you hear him. He's saying, look, and this is somebody who is part of the, I've forgotten the committee he belongs to in Congress, and he's saying here that, look, it's going to be easy. It's not going to be like going into Iran. This is... Now, some people have claimed that people who make this kind of statement are underestimating Nigeria. And I don't think there is Nigeria that cannot deal with the Nigerian people. Boko Haram is not really a big threat. It's not really that big of a threat, in my estimation. Boko Haram, the Fulani militias, they're not that big of a threat. Okay, it's just incompetence that has kept them alive. Incompetence, complicity, and facilitation from the government. That's what has kept them alive. If the Nigerian government wakes up tomorrow and is hell-bent on dealing with this problem, it will cease to exist. Okay, that is the reality. We'll look at more to that will show that what I'm saying is true. Here is a statement from Senator Ted Cruz talking on Fox Radio about what is going on in Nigeria.
In the first Trump term, President Trump designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern. That was the right thing to do. Unfortunately, Joe Biden came into office and immediately unwound that, removed them from the list, removed pressures, removed sanctions, and basically turned a blind eye while radical Islamic terrorists slaughtered Christians. When President Trump was reelected this second time, I've been leading the effort, urging the president to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Last Friday, the president did so. I'm very grateful that President Trump did so. It's the right thing to do. I've also introduced legislation that would impose targeted sanctions on the particular government officials who are responsible for looking the other way, responsible for facilitating or condoning this mass slaughter. And specifically, 12 state governments within Nigeria enforce Sharia law and enforce blasphemy laws. And the federal government also criminalizes blasphemy nationwide. These laws are used to persecute Christians, and these government officials are complicit in the mass murder. So I'm urging the White House and the administration to use our sanctioning tools to target and to incentivize these government officials to stop the mass murder that is occurring in Nigeria.
And I think also something that the United States can do is to designate Mighty Allah as a terrorist organization. Okay, they should designate Mighty Allah as a terrorist organization. Mighty Allah is the organization that is in charge of Fulani headers in the country, and they are their advocates, they are their defenders. Okay. They should be designated a terrorist organization because at this point, that is exactly what they are. As well as, anyway, let me not go too far. There are so many things I want them to do, but let's just say that is one thing that they can do. Also, I'm 100% in support of everything that Ted Cruz just said. And yes, that should be done as quickly as possible. As quickly as possible. I'm not here trying to tell the United States what they can do, but if they want to help, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. Okay? Like I said, the Nigerian government are not, they need more pressure. Maybe the one that is being asserted upon them is not enough. They need more pressure. A lot more pressure. Somebody said, I thought you said the mighty Allah. No, mighty Allah. Mighty Allah is an association in Nigeria, an association of breeders and headers of cattle in Nigeria. That's that's what the association is called, Mighty Allah. And while we are on the subject of what the military action that Trump threatened, the threat is no longer looking like just a threat. It's looking like Trump is even acting on it and working towards it. Because here is what we are getting as a news update today. Right, the U.S. military present plan for potential action in Nigeria. U.S. President Donald Trump threatened military action against Nigeria and accused the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration of allowing the mass slaughter of Christians. The U.S. military has submitted contingency plan for potential strikes on Nigeria, following a directive from President Donald Trump to prepare for possible action over a false claim of Christian genocide. Interesting, false claim. Wow, that's interesting, coming from Premium Times that I've covered extensively what is happening to Christians in Nigeria. But, you know, it's still a Nigerian publication, so what can you expect? The New York Times reported that the U.S. African Command, the U.S. African Command, U.S. or AFCOM, has drawn up and sent its option to the Department of War this week upon the request of Secretary Pete Hegseth. According to the report, I guess this is the report from the New York Times. According to the report published on Wednesday, the contingency plan from the African Command include 3 options: heavy, medium, and light. Each was designed to allow for a controlled escalation. The New York Times reported that the military officials disclosed that the heavy option presented by the command is the most forcible military response the U.S. could take against Nigeria. It involves sending an aircraft carrier group to the Gulf of Guinea off the Nigerian coast and using fighter jets or long-range bombers to strike direct targets deep inside North Nigeria. For the medium option, the command suggests using drone strikes against military camps, base, convoy, and vehicles in northern Nigeria. U.S. Predator and Reaper drones have a capacity to loiter for hours before striking. Meanwhile, other U.S. intelligence assets would build up targets' pattern of life to enable precise, timely strike, the New York Times reports. Military officials told the New York Times that the light option would center on partner-enabled operation with the U.S. military and State Department supporting Nigerian government forces to target Boko Haram and other Islamic insurgents responsible for attacks, kidnappings, and killings of civilians. The official said the primary goal of the attack is to strike Islamic militants in northern Nigeria, protect Christians from armed violence, and to end the decade-long insurgency in the country. However, there are some concerns about this plan. Before we go to the concerns about this plan, I will suggest that they go to the medium. The medium plan is what I would recommend. Okay, if I'm to recommend partnering with the Nigerian military, I am saying this, and mark my words, partnering with the Nigerian military on eradicating Boko Haram may lead, depending on how the partnership turns out. Okay, depending on how the partnership what the partnership look like. Partnering with the Nigerian military may lead to U.S. soldiers losing their lives because they will be betrayed by the Nigerian military personnel. I'm telling you, they will be betrayed by them. They will be set up by them. They will lead them to the slaughter, just like they've been doing to Nigerian soldiers for decades now. So it is better because you cannot trust them. You cannot trust those military personnel. The Nigerian military is infiltrated by Islamist terrorist apologists, terrorist sympathizers, and terrorists themselves. That is not a military you want to partner with. Not a military that has Sheikh Gumi as a retired general or a retired army officer. Sheikh Gumi, the sheikh that is a supporter and a defender of terrorists in this country. was once a military personnel in Nigeria. His son is currently a military personnel in Nigeria. And many more like that are in the Nigerian army. That's not an army you want to collaborate with. They will betray you, just like they have been betraying the Nigerian army. And we have many reports to this effect. So partnering with them they are going to lead you to the slaughter. So the other option is don't put boots on the ground. Do not put boots on the ground. It's not like I doubt the military capacity of U.S. soldiers and their ability to go into a place and like carry out and take out terrorists on the ground. I don't doubt that, but the risk of that leading to the loss of life of Nigerian military personnel is U.S. military personnel rather, is high, and I don't want that to happen to Nigerian military, to the U.S. military rather, not Nigerian, to the U.S. military. I want U.S. soldiers not to die in Nigeria, not to die on Nigerian soil. So the medium approach is what I would suggest, using drone strikes. Monitor the pattern of behavior of these terrorists, know where they congregate, know how they move, monitor them, gather intelligence, and then other precise drone strikes. You don't need approval from the Nigerian government. Like the Nigerian government are people you can really slap around and they will do nothing about it. And what would the Nigerian government do about it? Why would they be opposed to it? Is this not the US helping you? So what would the US military do? Shoot down what would the Nigerian military do? Shoot down US military drones? Of course, that is not something that I think they will want to do, because for all the things that Nigerian some of the people in Nigeria have been saying, they really fear the United States. They will not try something like that. All right, so let's look at what the Premium Times consider as problems to this plan. One is that the genocide allegation. Premium Times reports that last week, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened me, blah, 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 Disney, blah, blah, blah. This announcement followed months of campaign and demands by right-wing, okay. What else? What else is the plan? Meanwhile, attacks by ideologically driven jihadist group have targeted both Muslims and Christians. Boko Haram, ISWAP, and other groups have carried out abductions and raided communities irrespective of religious faith. In 2017, for instance, at least 50 people were killed when a bomb was detonated in a mosque in this area in Adamawa State. Also in 2018, a double suicide bombing in another mosque in Adamawa led to the death of 86 people. However, officials told the New York Times that the American military cannot do much to quell the violence unless it is willing to start an Iraq or Afghanistan-style campaign. It will be a fiasco, Paul Eaton, a retired army veteran of the war in Iraq, told the paper, noting that these actions would rather cause shock and confusion rather than quell the conflict. The retired general likened the effort to pounding a pillow. Okay. Challenges with the option. For the heavy option, in the U.S. contingency plan, the main hitch lies in the use of long-range bombers. It will require the deployment of air carrier group to the Gulf of Guinea. However, officials stated that the U.S. have limited carrier capacity. The New York Times noted that the U.S. is already in the process of moving one of its aircraft carrier, the Gerald R. Ford, from its deployment in Europe to the Southern Caribbean, where President Trump has declared a war on the drug cartel. Other carriers are currently deployed in the Pacific and the Middle East for ongoing maintenance. It stated that several military officials stressed that deploying an American aircraft carrier to the Gulf of Guinea to confront radical Islamist group in Nigeria was not considered a national security priority. The second option, which involves drone strikes on military camps, is also affected by the absence of U.S. military bases with close range. The U.S. exited the two nearest. The United States exited the two nearest drone bases located in Agadez and Niamey, both neighboring Niger, in August. Okay, Russia forces now occupy these bases. Currently, the closest known location from the U.S. where the U.S. could launch drones are in Southern Europe and Djibouti and East Africa, where the U.S. military maintain a large base. For the light option, which involves partnering with the forces in Nigeria, the U.S. must operate within the expertise of its key implementing partner, the United States Agency for for International Development. The administration has suspended and then disavowed the agency earlier this year, and in July shut down the office in Abuja. Well, as long as they have military bases in these places, it's not an issue. Launching drones are not an issue. These people are like, oh, look at the problem with the plan. And look at, oh, this is my critique of the plan. Well, let's see what the United States will do. But of course, my suggestion is the middle one. Just the medium strategy. That is what I would recommend. The medium strategy, not the heavy one and not the light one. The medium one, somewhere in the middle. And I think it's doable. But what do I know? So that is what the US is planning. So keep all of this in mind, that there are plans that are already being mapped out. So it's not really just bluffing, okay? There are plans that are being mapped out. And this is serious. Donald Trump is serious. The United States government is serious. It's not just empty threats. They are doing something about it. And we'll see what will come up, in the coming months or coming weeks or even coming days. You know how Trump always hit people with the element of surprise. Trump is a master in using the element of surprise, more of a master in using that than the, Islamic terrorists we have in Nigeria. Before we continue, I want to appreciate a fish in a tie. Thank you for the $2 super chat. He said, God bless Nigeria, Sudan, and all of Africa. Amen. And thank you for the super sticker. I really appreciate that. All right. Now that we know what is going on, now let's listen to some people that will definitely disagree with. We start with ECOWAS. Now, yesterday, ECOWAS dismissed the United States Christian genocide claim and backs Nigeria. That's what this headline is saying. So let's see what the headline, details of this report. The Economic Community of West African States, that's ECOWAS, has dismissed claims of genocide against any religious group in the region, noting that such claims are designed to distort unity and cohesion in the bloc. This came after President Donald Trump. Okay, we know how it claims, so blah, 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 blah. I guess that is the entirety. ECOWAS call on the United Nations and all partners to support member states in their fight against these groups and to treat as false any claim that this terrorist group target one group or that there is a genocide of one group in Nigeria. ECOWAS call on the whole world to stand by the countries in the region in their fight against terrorism that target all communities, said the bloc. Now, one thing you need to know about ECOWAS is that the chairman of ECOWAS is the president of Nigeria. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the chairman of ECOWAS. So as the chairman of ECOWAS, you can see how the statement coming out of ECOWAS is actually a statement coming out of the Nigerian government. And that is what the Nigerian government is doing, releasing statements, doing propaganda war. And one thing many Nigerians have pointed out to the Nigerian government is this is not the way to deal with this problem. Going on this propaganda war is not the way to deal with this problem. You cannot use propaganda as a weapon against the United States. They know the truth. The only people who are going to listen to your propaganda are people who hate Trump. The only people who your propaganda have an audience with are people who are anti-Trump. Okay? And those people don't have a say in the grand scale or the grand scheme of things. Those are the same people who were opposing Israel in their war against Gaza, and they did so for a very long time. Yet the United States stood by Israel as they, prosecuted their fight against Hamas. They did not flinch. Trump did not flinch. The support only grew stronger. They attacked Iran. Why the United States was still backing Israel? Israel launched a drone strike in Qatar. So if you think that any of this is going to sway what is to come, then you are deeply and strongly mistaken. Doing propaganda war is not the way forward. But I don't think the Nigerian government is paying attention. I think they are surrounded by sycophants who would rather just, do whatever it is that their job is than actually do something that counts. And we have the Minister of Aviation. It's interesting, it's important, it's now serious when the Minister of Aviation has left his post and his position as Minister of Aviation and decided to chime in on insecurity in Nigeria and the religious situation in Nigeria. So this is a statement from the Minister of Aviation in Nigeria, Festus Keyamo. He wrote this lengthy statement, or open letter to Donald Trump that he posted on Twitter. And this is what he had to say. Dear President Trump, I am a lawyer of more than 3 decades of active service, most of which was dedicated to activism in promotion and protection of human rights. Congratulations. In 2017, right there in Washington, I was found worthy to be awarded the Global Human Rights Award by the United States Global Leadership Council, which held the eminent Dr. Ruben Egoff as its chairman at the time. This was in recognition of my work over the years in the promotion of the rights of the downtrodden people. I was also born and raised as a Christian in Nigeria. Congratulations. Congratulations on your numerous achievements. Now, can you guess to the point? There is therefore a need for me to add my little voice to the issue that has agitated your mind lately, with the hope it would be heard even as a whimper. The purported mass killing of Christians in Nigeria. I was appointed by the present president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, along with other Christians. Because of my strong Christian background and ethnic pedigree, it would have been most unconscientious for me to associate with, let alone accept to serve or continue to serve a government if truly there is a scintilla of truth in the assertion that Christians are specifically targeted in Nigeria for persecution, killing, or harassment on account of their faith. It is simply not true, and you are simply stupid, sir. With all due respect, Honorable Minister, you have spoken. This paragraph is a masterpiece in stupidity, and here is why, sir. Nobody is accusing the Nigerian federal government of persecuting Christians actively. Nobody is saying that the Nigerian government, federal government that you work for, have a policy of persecuting Christians. We are saying that there is a system that is already in place. It is constitutional. It is regional. It is statewide in various states in this country where there is a system of persecution in Nigeria. Also, the targeted killing of Christians is not being conducted by the Nigerian government. It's not part of the Nigerian government's stated policy. We are saying that there are nefarious groups, terrorists, Islamic terrorists in the country that are carrying out this killing, and the government has done little to nothing about it. In fact, there are people in the government, whether state or national, that are facilitating this or complicit in this attack. In fact, we are saying that the federal government as a whole is complicit, including you, sir. Even you are complicit in this attack. And you being a Christian has nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, if we Nigerians know that you have no principle, you have no value, you dance to the beat of the highest bidder. That is who you are. Being a Christian has never affected any of your political moves as a politician in this country. It has never. So all of this is irrelevant. And mind you, you might think you are, I don't know who you think you are trying to sway with your whimper of your 2 cents. Because the people you are talking to know this. They know you. They know that you people are corrupt to the bone. You people are corrupt first, Christian last. So I don't know who you think you are trying to sway with this nonsense paragraph that you just wrote. The Nigerians, of course, will not listen to you because they know that you are a pathological liar. But don't think the United States will listen to you either, because they also know, much more than the Nigerians know, that you are a pathological liar. But just keep deceiving yourself. Let's continue. Just like the United States and many countries in the world, we have faced our own fair share of societal violence. Ours have been perpetrated by deadly groups known as Boko Haram, not seriously decimated herdsmen and cattle rustlers. This decade-old problem where we are inherited by our president, who has made great progress in the fighting against these insurgents. In fact, most of the security chiefs appointed by him are Christians, so it would be unthinkable to imagine them being complicit in the killing of fellow Christians in Nigeria. Oh, it is not unimaginable, because their Christianity does not in any way influence. We have Christians, so-called, in this country that are in politics that have been caught taking bribes, stealing money, being extremely corrupt, being complicit, turning a blind eye to the things that are happening to their constituents. Boala is parading himself from one media house to another. There is his local government area in Borno State does not have good roads. So all this talk, I am a Christian. This is identity politics that you are playing. And you are trying to use identity politics to appeal to Donald Trump, somebody who run on the campaign of destroying identity politics in America. I as a Christian. Oh, the chief of staff say are also Christians. And so what? What does that have to do with anything? President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria, though a Muslim, is a known moderate. He's a Muslim, he's a political Muslim, but continue. Whose wife is a pastor of one of the biggest Protestant churches in Nigeria. And most of his children are practicing Christians. Yeah, one of them even distributed Bibles. Of what use is that? When he was governor of Lagos State, he regularly invited Christian pastors for prayers and worship sections at the government house. He will be the last person to either adopt the killing of Christians as a state policy or condone such act or be complicit in them. Now, first of all, nobody is saying that that the Nigerian government official policy is that of the killing of Christians. That is not what is being alleged. But the condoning of such act, well, condoning might be in giving of speeches. Now, in giving of speeches, of course, he has repeatedly come out to condemn attacks. You know, Nigerian government has a policy of coming out and releasing statements after every attack, letting us know that they as a government condemn the attack. In fact, there is no government official, whether federal or state or local, that hasn't come out to condemn every attack whenever it happens. Every attack, whenever it happens, they come out and they condemn it. Okay? But do they condone it? Or do they have policies? Or the way they run their government, do you see this complicity in their action? Yes. That you have Christians, the way he's making it look like being a Christian and being complicit, or being identifying as a Christian and being complicit is mutually exclusive. They are not. Okay? Anyone can be complicit. Whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Hindu, whatever. You can be complicit, you can be corrupt, you can directly be facilitating or even directly be facilitating Islamic terrorists with your complicity. That is what is being alleged here, Festus Keyamo. You are a lawyer. You should know that for you to argue your case effectively in court, you should know what the point of argument is. So you will not be beating against, you will not be fighting against the wind. Make it, defeating a straw man, an argument that nobody is making. Then here is the lie. Nigeria is a secular state and our constitution explicitly provides for freedom of religion and prohibits the adoption of a state religion. It prohibits the adoption of a state religion, while 12 states in Nigeria are fully enforced Sharia law, reflecting its status as a multi-faith nation. This legal framework underpins the country's diverse religious landscape, which includes significant population of Muslims, Christians, and adherents of traditional African religions coexisting within a nation space. Go and stay in Jos and see the killings that are happening in Jos. And after observing the killings happening in Jos, of course, come back and tell us, live in Jos, sir, as Minister of Aviation, why don't you relocate to Jos and live there? Live in Bokos for 1 year and then come out. It's like as if your family is still remaining. You come back and tell us about this coexisting that Nigerians have been doing, or Nigerians of all religion have been doing. In all honesty, the insecurity in some parts of the country over the years has impacted adherents of all religions, and this government has sought to protect one set of adherents and have not sought to protect one set of adherents and ignore the other. That is not being alleged, Festus. Ordinarily, opposition politicians will oppose the government of the day. But on this matter, President Trump, you would have observed that the leaders of the opposition parties in Nigeria are united on one point. There is no targeted killing of Christians in Nigeria. Which opposition is united on that? Which opposition government or which opposition politician has come out to say that there is no killing of Christians? Or which prominent opposition politician? Is it Peter Obi? Is it Aliko Dangote? Atiku Abubakar. None of them have come out to release the statements that you claim is being made. None. This is the lies, and you think and you say you will know. You President Trump will know. When you are lying to somebody. President Trump, the Nigerian people ask for deep and sincere understanding from your government at this point. Which Nigerian people? Because don't speak for us. You've never spoken for us. The Nigerian government, the people that are paying you, your paymasters, who are asking that they should come and look for a deep and sincere. No, you don't want deep and sincere understanding. You want the spotlight to not be on you. That is what you want. Deep and sincere understanding is the last thing that you guys want. What else is he saying here? Nigeria asks for support and cooperation from your government at this point to confront this decade-old menace of terrorism. We ask for collaboration. We ask for frank and open dialogue at this time with your government. It's interesting. The person who is being dishonest is asking for frank and open dialogue. We ask that you broaden your source of information at this time so as to get a balanced view of what is happening in Nigeria. Yeah, we ask that you consider our propaganda, in whatever you are doing. Consider our propaganda. That is how to broaden your source of information. Your source of information should include all the propaganda that our government is pushing out vehemently. That's the statement from Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation in Nigeria. Before we proceed, let me recognize those who are putting their money where my mouth is. Thank you, Basirat Balogo. My Nigerians are actually denying the genocide. They have called Trump racist, sickening. Death is now next to nothing. The lies are outrageous. Exactly, and that is true. When you see what the Nigerian politicians are doing, especially, and also their minions in the media, when you see what they are doing, you ask yourself, do these people even have conscience? I have described what is going on in the government and also amongst the minions of the government, whether you even find them in religious houses. There have been pastors that have come out to defend the Nigerian government. Whenever I see them, I say these are people who are wicked and without conscience. Their conscience has been smeared with hot iron. These people have no conscience and have no regard for human life. It is unfortunate, but that's the reality. There is another. This is from BT. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat, US dollar super chat. It said funds for Nigeria for Frank's military campaign. Frank for president. Pico, I want to live long. Thank you. Please keep bringing in the super chats. Bring them on more and more and more and more and more. Okay, encourage me. And also go to buymeacoffee.com/NIG perspective. You can support us there as well. Go to buymeacoffee.com/NIG perspective. Put your money where my mouth is. That's where it is supposed to be. Anyway, moving on. Then you have this moron, this absolute fool, this painlessly stupid individual, this terrorist sympathizer, as in the worst human filth you can ever find in Western media. None other than the infamous, painfully stupid, extremely annoying, lie-reading, deception infested Mahdi Hassan. Look at the nonsense that he posted. Following in the tradition of Festus Keyamo, but even more annoying. The First Lady of Nigeria is a Christian pastor. Donald Trump can identify basic books of the Bible. So what? So freaking what? Now let me tell you something about the church that the First Lady of Nigeria is a pastor in. There's one thing you need to know about the church. The church is called the Redeemed Christian Church of God. It's one of the biggest churches in Nigeria. Now, here's the truth. And I'm not saying this to mock them, but it's the truth. Many people who have observed what is going on in that church will attest to this thing that I'm about to say. For the right price, you can become a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. For the right price, I can become a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Becoming a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God is not a difficult thing. It is a position. It is a status that can be bought. That is the truth. So the fact that she's a pastor is me, especially a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Nigerians don't place much weight on that. That is one. Second, she is the first lady. She was not an elected official. And the fact that President Tinubu is married to her is inconsequential. And what is annoying about this ridiculous, painfully stupid human being on the US, on the Western media landscape is that when he posted this rubbish, he locked his comment. He should have opened it. And Nigerians would tell him just exactly how they feel. And they did in it. Like if you go to the quoted tweets under this, no, not me quoting, not me doing the quoting. If you view the quotes, those who have quoted this tweet, you'll see what they are saying to him. It is, Now, here somebody said, America had a black president. How could it ever be racist? Now, somebody like Mahdi Hassan will say, that the fact that America had a black president did not mean America stopped being racist. But the fact that the president of Nigeria has a Christian wife is proof that Christian genocide cannot be going on in Nigeria. Because, and then this is somebody telling him you are a known terrorist And then another person posted this FC Jihad meme. And here is another one. Saying he's one of the people convincing me that there's almost no Islamic person that isn't a radical. The first lady is not an elected official, you foolish idiot. Useless terrorist sympathizer. Why did you lock your comment section? Open up your comment section so that Nigerians can tell you how useless you are as a jihadist terrorist sympathizer. Someone said this clown doesn't even know that the first lady of Nigeria was threatened by a Muslim cleric and called an infidel, claiming God told him to kill her. The video was everywhere, by the way. Shut your behind up, Mahdi Hassan. This is true. It happened. I think I covered it on this channel, where the first lady that Mahdi Hassan is talking about was threatened by a Muslim cleric in this country that said that she should be executed. She should be killed. Then this person said, an actual terrorist would always defend his fellow terrorist. These are the people you believe about. These are the people you believe about Israel, Gaza, because surely a CNN journalist would be truthful. Then they talk about the Nigerian Christian genocide, and you realize that for them, it's about Islamic agenda, not truth. Here, he has weaponized a fact to deny truth. The first lady in Nigeria being a Christian is not a factor in dismissing the continuous death and killing of largely Christian communities in Nigeria. And being a first lady is just a mere ceremonial figure. The president and vice president are Muslims. They have the powers. According to Mahdi Hassan, the fact that the Nigerian Muslim president is flaunting a Christian wife while overseeing the silent but continuous massacre of Christians in Nigeria matters more than Trump actually saving the Christians from being killed. Exactly. Then this person said, unlock your comment section, please. It's amazing how your intentional, ignorant, loud-mouthed. It's amazing how you intentional, ignorant, loud-mouthed journalists with no understanding of the context of reality on ground spout nonsense. People are constantly being unalived by Islamists and Fulani fundamentalists. But your petty, I think he said something else, but your petty politics and angst against Trump is your problem. An Arsenal fellow. Then this person said, I guess America isn't racist since the black man was president for 8 years. He will not agree with that. And here is a comment. There is a quote from me. You are a very gigantic fool. You should have left your comment section. You should have left your comment open so that Nigerians can tell you how they really feel. Idiot. This is what he said. This guy is so biased against Trump that he actually believes Tinubu's wife is a Christian. Talk less of Christian pastor. What he's trying to say is that there are many people who will not consider Tinubu's wife a Christian because of how she moves. It's been interesting to watch international commentators wax confident while being grossly ignorant. Then this person said, terrorist propaganda is cited. My fellow Nigerians, this is his media company. You can go and vent your anger there. Right, so you can get the idea of what people are saying about this tweet on Twitter. Then we have a comment from we had someone who went to the streets of the UK to interview Nigerians in the UK to get their opinion of what they think on what Trump is doing or planning to do in Nigeria. So somebody went to the UK and interviewed Nigerians in the UK. So the person who captured this said she asked Nigerians living in the USA, but when you look at the video, they are not living in the USA, they are living in the UK. So this is what Nigerian UK residents had to say about what Trump is doing or planning to do.
Do you
in Nigeria.
think Donald Trump wants the best for Nigeria, or do you think he has a selfish interest?
Of course, he hasn't got Nigerian best interest. Where have you ever seen all over the world that America went into and got a place? Go and check Iraq, check Libya, check everywhere.
You know what is funny about this guy talking with his big stomach and his... he's living in a country that America got involved in and it became better. He's living in England, a country that allied itself with the United States to fight the Germans. He's living in that country and he's opening his mouth and saying, go to which country is there in the world that America has got involved in or intervened in and things turned out well. Show me that country. You are living in one of those countries, dumbass.
They went, they destroyed the place. There's no go to Nigeria. We don't want him.
Are you happy that he's coming, or are you saying that we can?
There's no go in Nigeria. We don't want him. You say why you are in the UK. Why don't you come to Nigeria? Come to Nigeria. Live in Jos. Why did you? If Nigeria is so perfect, we don't need the help of Donald Trump. Why don't you come back? Return home. Onya Pari.
Handle things ourselves.
You are well read, right?
Yes,
if you
sir.
are well read, you don't even think that Trump can come to Nigeria. Nigeria is not a pushover at all. So he can never try to come. So that's it.
Nigeria is not a pushover. Yet jihadis from Niger Republic, jihadis from Cameroon, jihadis from neighboring countries are coming over and pushing over and taking over barracks. An entire barracks in Nigeria is being overrun by terrorists from Niger. An entire community, swaths of land, taken over. Communities taken over by terrorists from Niger. But Nigeria is not a pushover. Nigeria is not a pushover.
Venezuela or Afghanistan, it's not state of emergency. There is no war going on in Nigeria. If you are saying
there is no war going on in Nigeria, but villages are being set ablaze. People are losing their homes. Lives are being lost. But there is no war going on in Nigeria. Nigeria is not a state. It's not a state of emergency that over 7,000 Christians have been killed this year. 35 every day. It's not a state of emergency. You know, when the numbers get to 100 a day, then we can start talking, I guess. Says somebody in the UK who ran away from Nigeria in search of greener pastures. If it's not a state of emergency, come back home, Uncle. Uncle Chinedu, come back home. Come back home if it's not a state of emergency.
people are dying,
Yeah.
they are killing people in Gaza, they are killing people in Ukraine. What did Donald Trump do? I'm not saying he can't come to Nigeria, but Nigeria is a sovereign state.
He's a racist. He doesn't like Nigeria at all.
Do you think Donald Trump has
Nigeria Donald Trump is a racist, but the Fulani militias, the Boko Haram extremists, ISWAP, Ansaru, and the likes, all of them, these people are people that are not racist, of course. The Nigerian government is not heavily tribalistic. The Nigerian society is not heavily, deeply tribalistic. It's Trump that is the racist. Unserious people.
Nigerians' best interest at heart, or do you think he has a selfish reasons?
America always have interests wherever they go. It's just like what happened in Afghanistan. Once they vested their interest, they will come with confusion like this now to get what they want to get from there. Then the people there will still benefit from that. That's why I say it's both.
Now, I want you to stand on a particular point.
I give it to Donald Trump.
You want him to come in?
Yes.
Some people are saying that the intervention of the international body, that's America right now, will bring about stability. Some other people are saying they should leave us. We're going to handle things ourselves. What do you say?
We don't need Trump to handle insecurity in Nigeria.
We can do it ourselves.
110.
Yes, and for 15 years you have been doing it yourself. You guys, you are so doing it yourselves that some of you had to run away. You had to run away to the UK. You guys, you are doing it yourselves. You are so doing it yourselves that you had to run away. By the way, I want to recognize my very good friend, the traveling Clat. We love you, Frank. So happy you are back. The Clat summoned me. BT and Ayanora. I'm happy that they summoned you. Thank you for the huge super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hopefully we get to do a collaboration soon. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's...
So, but we need this shake, and it was necessary.
We need a wake-up call. Maybe that's what Trump is doing, which makes sense, but he doesn't necessarily have to
come with
physically engage.
A lot of things has happened. Nigeria has happened to me. It has happened to a lot of people. We need action. So if he's coming there to have his own or his piece of cake, I don't care. Donald Trump should come and do whatever he wants to do. As long as we...
You have spoken like a true Nigerian. Thank you very much. Not all these ones that are there say, do you know what Nigeria is? We are not a pushover. Trump, which country have they gone to that things have gotten better? Trump should now come here. Very unserious people. Keep speaking. Go ahead. We love to hear the kind of things you're saying.
Have security.
You're already taking things already, you understand? So it's better that they take the things and we feel the impact.
Exactly. Fulani militias are in Nigeria securing mines that are being and then allowing illegal miners to come with helicopters and take our natural resources, illegal Chinese miners to come to the country, steal our resources, sell, which is sold to them by these terrorists who take over this large portion of these large communities and large mining areas in the Middle Belt. They take over the large mining area in the Middle Belt. They allow foreigners, especially Chinese nationals, to come into that area and mine for gold, mine for lithium, mine for all these rare earth minerals, and then pay them a particular fee. And then that money, when the bandits and when the terrorists receive them, they use it to buy more ammunition, to create more terror. So that is already happening. And by the way, many of these terrorists are not even homegrown. Some of them are from Niger. So you already have people, outsiders, invaders, coming into your country, carrying out acts of terror in the name of Islam, and at the same time stealing resources and selling it to the Chinese. You already have that going on. But your concern is Donald Trump is coming to come and take your oil on serious people.
So you're saying the intervention will bring law and order in Nigeria?
Yeah, it will help in a way.
Donald Trump talking about Nigeria is just bringing a light about.
Yeah, this is something that someone posted, and I think it's very serious. It's very important to know. People keep talking about Syria, Afghanistan, blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump, under Donald Trump's administration, the war in Syria to end the reign of ISIS was carried out and was successful. They failed to mention that fighting ISIS in Syria was successful. To a large part successful, not like completely. But ISIS is not as powerful as it used to be, thanks to the United States. But they will not mention that one. No, it doesn't help the narrative.
What is going on in Nigeria at the moment? Yeah. Donald Trump's intervention in Nigeria is a plus, but Nigeria needs support, not what he's trying to do.
Have you been a victim of any of this insecurity before?
Yeah, my whole town, I don't want to mention the name, but we have a lot of insecurities. So I think this is a welcome development. If you can really work with the Nigerian government, they can sincerely put this to an end.
You know, we've got all these natural resources. If Trump invade Nigeria, it's not for Nigeria's benefit. Obviously, it's for
his own benefit.
Absolutely.
What are 3 things you think Donald Trump is interested in Nigeria right now?
Our resources, of course.
1.
Our oil.
What else? Just oil?
Yeah.
But with the oil that we've had over the years, have you been a beneficiary, sir?
I know I haven't been, but I just hope to our president in Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you're the father of the nation. We don't need Trump.
Father of which nation? He's father of his family, Biko.
To come and intervene in Nigeria, please.
Do your job, sir.
Do your job, sir.
Interesting stuff. All right, so there goes the reaction from Nigerians abroad. All right. Now let's listen to Matt Walsh. I have to give credit to Matt Walsh because I have been very critical of Matt Walsh. And this is probably a moment for us to put our differences aside. This is a moment for me and Matt Walsh, even though we've not really have like a direct beef. We've never ever had any beef. It's just me beefing him. I've not gotten on his radar enough for him to beef me in return. So it's just a one-sided beef. But it's time for me to put that one-sided beef aside. I was really surprised when
if you wanted to take down America, you would start exactly.
I was really surprised when he talked about it, and some of the things he said about it were shocking to me. In fact, I think I left a comment. I don't know if you see it in the comment section. If it's still there. Oh yeah, it is. I said, thank you so much, Matt, for talking about Nigeria Christian genocide. I am happy to learn that you see protecting Christians across the world from radical Islam as in the United States' best interest. Thank you. So yeah, I even left a comment. And I think, I was impressed, to say the least. I was like, wow, sometimes, Matt, it's not like, come on, let me be honest. It's not like Matt is known for just bad takes. He's known for a lot of good takes. So why am I acting like he doesn't? Well, I think where the surprise is coming from for me is that when it has to do with issues that are happening around the world, he's often silent. So he's often like, oh, I have nothing to say in this regard. Oh, I don't, this is not, I'm America first. Or let us focus on what is happening in this country. And let us focus on our own interest, America's interest. But what I find really powerful in his statement here was that he saw protecting Christians around the world as he states that this is in America's best interest. And I was like, wow. Now, of course, he did not further expound on that claim. It was just a claim that was made without any argument to really back it up. But I'm like, that the fact that he even thinks like that is a major improvement for me. It makes me want to really support the America First movement. If America First also mean Christian first for those who are pushing the movement, and by Christian first, they don't just mean Christian first in America, but Christian first across the world, then I'm fully on board. You know, not like me being fully or not fully on board matters, because at the end of the day, I'm not even an American. But, you know, anyway, I'm talking too much. Let's just listen to what Matt Walsh had to say.
When the president announced that we might soon be taking sweet military action inside Nigeria, as he put it, in addition to cutting off all foreign aid to the country, he raised a lot of very urgent questions that need to be answered. And the first question, of course, is what exactly this sweet military action will look like. Nigeria doesn't have much in the way of anti-air technology, nor is their military capable of defeating LSU's football team, much less the U.S. Army. So the options are pretty much limitless on that front, especially if you're not a fan of the mercy rule or playing remotely fair. We could film the next Top Gun movie over West Africa in the next few weeks if we wanted to. And whatever you think of those movies, no serious person could test the fact that they featured some pretty sweet scenes. The other important...
This guy does not rate Africa. We are not rated. He doesn't rate us. He doesn't rate us. I think we are the ones that overrate ourselves. We're like, yeah, our military is the best. Go and ask Joyce. This is powerful military. And this American is like, it is so easy to defeat our military. It is. I mean, there are limitless options. Even though, you know, the New York Times is like, oh, the options are limited. But it's like, nah, actually, there are limitless options.
Important question that's raised by Trump's remarks, as we briefly discussed yesterday, is why are we sending any foreign aid to Nigeria to begin with? Why is there any foreign aid to suspend? Now, when I asked that question yesterday, I genuinely had no idea what the answer was. I was aware of statistics showing that since 2021, we've been sending roughly $1 billion, yes, $1 billion every single year to Nigeria. And for the decade before that, we were giving them about $500 million every year. And most of that money is supposedly earmarked for humanitarian and economic purposes. And yet, if you look at the current state of Nigeria, it's not doing so well, despite receiving all that money from your checking account. It turns out that, according to the latest estimates from the United Nations Development Program, quote, 63% of persons living within Nigeria, 133 million people, are multidimensionally poor. Yes, you heard that correctly. 63% of Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. Now, this is not, despite what you may think and what I thought at first, a situation where Nigerians are so poor that they've entered another dimension.
Oh, my goodness. See what bad governance can do to a country. This is so unfortunate. This is so unfortunate. Nigerian government, you guys did this one.
Apparently, according to the United Nations, being multidimensionally poor means that in addition to having no money, you also have poor health, poor education, poor living standards, poor sanitation, poor housing, and poor access to electricity. In other words, being multidimensionally poor means you're poor. And apparently it also means that you're entitled to billions of dollars from American taxpayers. And that's not all they've been receiving. Whether they exist in this dimension or not, Nigerians have also been receiving very different kind of aid from the United States. It's not all humanitarian aid. They've also been receiving very expensive planes, which you can see right there. In 2017, the first Trump administration sold a dozen A-29 Super Tucano aircraft to Nigeria for $600 million on the theory that they'd be useful in the Nigerian government's fight against Boko Haram, the Islamist militant group. And the Super Tucanos are turboprop aircraft that are mainly used for close air support. Now, at the time, the Trump administration thought it would be a good idea to equip Nigeria's Air Force with these fighters because Boko Haram and other militant jihadi groups had been slaughtering Christians and burning down churches since 2009. And Nigeria's government clearly needed more firepower to deal with the insurgency. To be clear, though, it was not an idea that originated with the Trump administration. A year before the Trump administration completed the sale of the fighters, in 2016, the Obama administration had indicated that it was going to send those aircraft to Nigeria, but they backed out after Nigeria's military bombed a civilian refugee camp by mistake.
Yeah, that happened. The Obama administration wanted to sell these fighter jets to the Nigerian government, and then a report came out that the Nigerian government, by mistake, bombed the civilian area. And this has, even after the fighter jet was sent, this has happened repeatedly in Nigeria. That the Nigerian army somehow does not know location, geography. They don't really understand it. They want to send rocket. They want to bomb Sambisa. They end up bombing Niger. And if you look at the map, Niger is far away from Sambisa. What are you doing? This has happened. This happens often. What he just mentioned happens often.
Killing 90 people. And then a few months later, the Trump administration took over and they completed the transaction. Now, in the end, Boko Haram was not defeated. Neither were other major Islamic militant groups in Nigeria. Several years after they obtained the planes from the U.S. military, the mass murder of Christians didn't stop in Nigeria, has not stopped.
It even grew worse.
In fact, if anything, it's intensified. By some estimates, and I stress these are very rough estimates, probably vast undercounts, but still well over 24,000 Christians were killed in Nigeria from 2021 to 2025, while around 10,000 Christians were killed from 2017 to 2020. Every year, according to conservative estimates, at least 4,000 Christians are killed because of their faith in Nigeria, which would be more than every other country in the world combined. And many of these Islamist attacks that take place in churches, farms, villages. Watch.
That's an attack taking place in a community in Plateau State, and that's people running from it. And many of these bandits, I think these terrorists, many of them now have the habit of filming themselves. Like they film themselves while they do this. When they kidnap someone and collect ransom, they flex it on social media. Like they go on TikTok and they flex it. You have bandits with TikTok accounts flexing their wealth on TikTok in this country.
Response to footage like this and the massacre of Christians, here's the framing you'll see in the mainstream press. This is from the AP. See if you can spot the hole in the logic here. Quote, while Christians are among those targeted, analysts say the majority of victims of armed groups are Muslims in Nigeria's Muslim-majority north, where most attacks occur. Analysts say Nigeria's complex security dynamics do not meet the legal definition of a genocide. Now, well, there's complex dynamics, you see, so we can't call it an anti-Christian genocide. Then there's this analysis from an esteemed professor at NYU, quote, if anything, what we're witnessing is mass killings which are not targeted against a specific group, said Olojumok Ayendel.
Olajumoke Ayodele. Olajumoke Ayodele. Not that's whatever I wanted to pronounce.
Assistant professor at New York University.
I want to listen to Matt Walsh destroy, just demolish the name. The name is actually Olajumoke Ayodele. That is the name. Olajumoke Ayodele. But I just want to listen to Matt Walsh demolish the name. Let's listen to it. It's glorious. What is happening? What
if you wanted to take...
How did I do? I wanted to listen to somebody's name being butchered, and now I don't even know where I was at because my system just has a mind of its own. Sorry about that. My system is kind of on its, just doing its own thing.
And you wouldn't want that, apparently? You wouldn't want to put people on alert about the threat that they face? In other words, according to the AP, occur. Analysts say Nigeria's complex security dynamics do not meet the legal definition of a genocide. No, well, there's complex dynamics, you see, so we can't call it an anti-Christian genocide. Then there's this analysis from an esteemed professor at NYU, quote, if anything, what we're witnessing is mass killings which are not targeted against a specific group, said Olahumok.
Olahumok. Olajumoke. Olajumoke. Olahumok. Ayendel. Ayodele. Olajumoke Ayodele.
Assistant professor at New York University Center for Global Affairs, who specializes in conflict studies. The drumming up of genocide might worsen the situation because everyone is going to be on alert. And you wouldn't want that, apparently. You wouldn't want to put people on alert about the threat that they face. In other words, according to the AP and this professor at NYU, Christians aren't being targeted for extermination by Muslims because both Christians and Muslims are being killed in large numbers by extremist groups. That's the logic. So if a group commits a genocide against another group, but then also kills a bunch of its own people, then it's not a genocide. Because you can cancel out the genocide by just like killing the same number of your own people that you killed of the group that you hate.
Yeah, that's
what they're telling us.
Yeah, that's the logic. That's the logic. If you kill Christians and then you go out and kill the same amount of Muslims, then it's no longer a genocide. It's no longer a genocide, ladies and gentlemen. Genocide cancelled.
You know, it's not just Christians who are dying, and therefore Christians aren't being targeted. You know, it's a bit like saying innocent people aren't being targeted by the Joker because the Joker also kills some of his own henchmen when they make him angry. Now, the problem, of course, is that in both cases, the AP is talking about the Muslims are the ones who are doing the killing. Christians are not raiding Muslim farms and mosques and massacring everyone. Christians aren't lining up Muslims and shooting them in the head because they won't convert. Muslims are committing those atrocities against Christians. And yes, they're also killing moderate Muslims. They're killing Muslims they disagree with. And on top of that, they're also killing Christians as part of their explicit goal of religious conquest and worldwide jihad.
Exactly.
There's an ISIS affiliate that's active in northeast Nigeria right now called Islamic State West Africa Province, or ISWAP. And they're currently in the process of murdering and enslaving Christian men, women, and children on their way to establishing a new caliphate. They're one of the most powerful ISIS groups anywhere in the world. And that's the part of the story that the AP would rather skip over as they attempt to, both sides this ongoing slaughter. But you can't skip over that part of the story because it's clearly relevant to how the U.S. should respond.
Exactly. Treat it like you're fighting ISIS. That is how the U.S. should respond. Treat it like you are fighting ISIS. Because ISWAP is ISIS, Boko Haram is ISIS, Ansaru is ISIS. All these terror groups are ISIS. Some tied to ISIS, some tied to Al-Qaeda, some just homegrown, but they share the same ideology. You are fighting ISIS. They operate like ISIS. So that should determine how the United States should respond.
Think about the rise of ISIS in Iraq a decade ago. Obama declared that they weren't a big threat. Right? Famously, he called them the JV team. And then just 6 months later, ISIS took over huge swaths of Syria and Iraq and said they were going to start a new caliphate. And it wasn't until Donald Trump took office and dramatically intensified the Pentagon's attacks on ISIS in 2017 that they were finally defeated in both Iraq and Syria. So this is an example of a targeted American military intervention overseas that had a clear, tangible, positive result for Americans by eliminating an organization that was committed to conducting acts of terrorism on our soil, while also saving the lives of hundreds of thousands of Christians. And make no mistake about it, keeping Christians alive wherever they may be is clearly in the best interests of the U.S. And to that end...
That is powerful there. That statement right there by Matt Walsh is powerful. Okay, of everything he said, that is the one thing he said that I wanted to clip so badly. Just put it out there. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Matt Walsh, for saying that. That is very powerful right there. And I hope everyone who is on the America First train adopt this perspective.
Keeping Christians alive wherever they may be is clearly in the best interests of the U.S. And to that end, Donald Trump did not wage an endless war in the Middle East. It was a campaign that every reasonable person in the country thought was appropriate and justified.
Mm-hmm.
So what Trump is proposing to do now, as he says, we're going to carry out a sweet attack in Nigeria, going in guns a-blazing, if it comes to that, is to follow the exact same strategy he used to great effect in his first administration. We have precedent showing that ISIS and other Islamic militant groups can be shut down, and very quickly. So why are Democrats opposing Trump's apparent plan to attack Islamic terrorists in Nigeria? Well, one reason, of course, is that Democrats are not bothered by the persecution of Christians.
No. Democrats, and of course he's right, but I'm saying no. Like it's worse than that. Democrats love Islamic terrorists. Leftists love Islamic terrorists. That's why Zora Mamdani is the mayor of New York, elected mayor of New York. They love Islamic terrorists. They love it. They love it so much. And are unwilling to do anything about it. Because to them, to fight Islamic terrorism is to be Islamophobic. And is to be imperialist. And every other nonsense terminology that they come up with to describe fighting this deadly, dangerous ideology that wants to conquer the entire planet.
Actually, they welcome it. After all, they persecute Christians within the borders of this country. Why would they care about Christians who are being slaughtered 5,000 miles away? But there's also something to be said for how Nigeria, in the eyes of Democrats, is a big success story for democracy. And they're willing to cling to this mythology at all costs, no matter how many Christians need to die as a result. Every other month, the Biden administration will put out statements about how Nigeria is Africa's largest democracy. You can go on the archived version of the White House website and you'll find about a dozen, of these declarations. And Nigeria's president at the time returned the favor. He was one of the first world leaders to declare that Joe Biden had won the 2020 election. Quote, "Congratulations to U.S. President-elect Joe Biden on his election at a time of uncertainty and fear in world affairs. His election is a reminder that democracy is the best form of government because it offers the people the opportunity to change their government by peaceful means."
Keep in mind.
So the messaging is pretty clear.
Keep in mind that the president who said that Muhammadu Buhari was once a military dictator in Nigeria. He was, the first time he became president of this nation was under military rule. He overturned a civilian government and established a military rule in Nigeria. That was his first time in office. Somebody who overthrew a democracy, came back in the 21st century. He did it in the 20th century, came back in the 21st century as he repented. He repented of his ways of, military dictatorship and came now as a lover of democracy. That is why his administration believed that everybody can repent, because he claimed to be repentant, even though he rigged the election massively and ruled Nigeria like a military dictator, even while he was democratically elected. That was the person that was. These people are just. Is it so many times when I see world leaders give all these speeches and make all these comments, I'm like, these people are just out there to just make fun of us. Like they're making fun of us. You people are making fun of us. Oh, it's all about democracy. Nigeria is Africa's largest democracy. Really. The last election that was held in this country, international observers said that the election was rigged, that it was riddled with so many problems. Yet, Joe Biden was the first world leader to congratulate Tinubu after he won the election. Swiftly, Biden congratulated him. Despite what international observers were saying. This is the world we live in. This is the world we live in when leftists have their way.
From both sides. Democracy, as we all remember, was the Democrats' top buzzword for the past few years. They couldn't stop throwing the word around. They said the United States is a democracy. They said Nigeria is a democracy. They said your local dentist office is a democracy. Everything's a democracy. And in every single case, Democrats were using the word democracy to describe some of the most undemocratic practices imaginable.
Yes.
Now, of course, in this country, they went on about the importance of democracy as they attempted to imprison and murder the leading presidential candidate, along with everyone who ever worked for him. In Nigeria, they pontificated about democracy even as the state lost its monopoly on the use of force and as Islamist terrorist groups seized control of large portions of the country.
True.
But
Why
You know,
Islamists are carrying out deadly attacks in the country, why they are decimating the country, why they have taken over the country, taking out huge portion of society, communities in the country, why that is happening. They say Nigeria is Africa's largest democracy. And they haven't stopped. They are still, releasing the same propaganda. The same story again and again.
Nigeria is not really a democracy. It's a failed state where Christians are being hunted en masse.
Yes.
And you have to ask yourself, if the entire corporate media and the Democrat Party are willing to lie to you about what's happening in Nigeria, why wouldn't they excuse the same type of massacre in this country? I mean, it'd be one thing if they tried to claim that foreign entanglements are inherently risky or that we don't want to risk the lives of U.S. service members. I mean, those are reasonable arguments. You can make those arguments. Or if they claim that we could solve all of Nigeria's problems, all of their multidimensional poverty by sending them, a little bit more money, which is not a reasonable.
Which will end up in the coffers of Boko Haram, by the way.
Argument, but they could also try to claim that. But they're not really doing that. They're telling you that Christians aren't actually being gunned down, even though it's happening on camera. Whatever Donald Trump chooses to do in Nigeria, Christians in this country and all over the world should never forget that. The people who want you dead aren't just in Boko Haram or ISWAP or ISIS. They're not 5,000 miles away. They're trying to return to power. They're running in several major elections today, in fact. Now, that sounds like an overstatement. Well, ask yourself, how are Christians treated in Somalia? It's one of the most dangerous countries in the world for Christians. They are murdered and beheaded for their faith all the time. I mean, last Good Friday, Islamist militants shot 6 Christians in the shop where they worked and then torched the shop. But what do you think happens when major cities in this country become indistinguishable from Somalia? What happens to the Christians in those cities? Well, if they win today's elections with the help of millions of imported foreign voters, in Democrats' eyes, it'll be a major victory for democracy. But what they won't tell you is that their ideal version of democracy is not anything that Ben Franklin or Thomas Jefferson had in mind. It is Nigeria and Somalia's definition of democracy. And one election in New York or Minneapolis at a time, we're on our way to getting just that.
Yeah, it will be Iran's.
Let's get to our 5 headlines.
It will be Iran's version of democracy. It will be that kind of democracy, One way I describe Nigeria's democracy, I call it a democratic dictatorship. It is not a democracy. It is not a democracy. What we are operating in this country is psychophancy, because we have a lot of psychophants in power. All right, so that was from Matt Walsh. Then, for those who are still wondering, is this really, the way it is that they are wondering right now? Here is from 2020 what the past administration had to say. This is not from the opposition party in the past administration. This is the official statement of the Nigerian government under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. No, not Bola Ahmed Tinubu, under Muhammadu Buhari in 2020. This was their take on what is happening in Nigeria, the insecurity in northern Nigeria. This was what they said. The federal government makes a U-turn and admits that Boko Haram is targeting Christians. This is from on the 28th of February 2020. The federal government on Thursday admitted that members of the dreaded Boko Haram set and ISWAP have changed tactics. They have not changed tactics. It's the same thing that they have been doing. But this is what the government was saying. It said that they have decided to be targeting Christians and Christian communities. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said this at a press conference in Abuja on Thursday. He said the insurgents' latest latest strategy was meant to trigger a religious war and throw the nation into chaos. The minister's position contradicted the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari's assertion in an op-ed article published 3 weeks ago in a United States-based magazine, Christianity Today. In the op-ed, which was a tribute to the Machika local government area chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Adamawa State, Pastor Lawan Andimi, who was abducted and killed by insurgents, Buhari had said that it was not true that Christians were the primary targets of Boko Haram insurgents. Now, Buhari was saying this after a Christian Association of Nigeria chairman in Adamawa State was beheaded. He went to Christianity Today. In an article he wrote for Christianity Today, he said that it is not true that these people that just finished beheading a pastor, a Christian Association of Nigerian president, that after they have finished beheading him, it is not true that they are targeting Christians. But later, his government took a U-turn and said, actually, Boko Haram is targeting Christians. But in the past, he said Christianity in Nigeria. But before that, Tinubu has stated that Christianity in Nigeria is not, as some seem intent on believing, contracting under pressure, but expanding and growing in numbers, approaching half of our population today. Nor is it the case that Boko Haram is primarily targeting Christians. Not all of the Chibok girls were Christians. Some were Muslims, and we are so at the point at which they were taken by terrorists. Most of them, Buhari, if you could ever say anyway, he's dead. If he could ever say the truth when he was alive, he would have acknowledged that most of the Chibok girls were Christians because the attack took place in a Christian community and the goal was to kidnap Christian girls. And the first people to be released by Boko Haram, the first kidnapped girls to be released by Boko Haram were Muslims, Muslim girls. Many of the Christian girls that were kidnapped by Boko Haram are still in captivity till this day. But he will not mention that. The Christian Association of Nigeria Director of Legal and Public Affairs, Kwaku Samuel, had faulted the president. Samuel said Boko Haram from the outset did not hide their mission. The sole purpose of Boko Haram is the killing of Christians and Islamization of Nigeria, he added. Samuel said the CAN director stated that Boko Haram had wiped away all Christian community in most local governments of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. Samuel also cited the killing of Andimi and a University of Maiduguri student, Robville Dacia Dalep, to back his claim that the insurgents were targeting Christians. Both on Thursday, the federal government seemed to have changed its position as he said that the insurgents had altered their strategy because of a renewed onslaught by our tireless military. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said Boko Haram insurgents were not used to discriminating between Christians and Muslims when they carry out their attacks in the past. But now they have changed, according to Lai Mohammed. According to him, churches and mosques, Christians and Muslims were attacked without discrimination in the past. He said, recall that Boko Haram insurgents didn't used to discriminate between Christians and Muslims when they carried out their attacks in the past. Churches and mosques, Christians and Muslims were attacked without discrimination. When they target motor parks, the religion, gender, ethnicity, or political leaning of the victims didn't matter as long as they inflicted the maximum damage on lives and property. But in the wake of a renewed onslaught by our tireless military against Boko Haram and their ISWAP allies in recent time, the insurgents have apparently changed their strategy. They have started targeting Christians and Christian villages for a specific reason, which is to trigger a religious war and to throw the nation into chaos. Apparently, they have realized how emotive and divisive religion can be when exploited by unscrupulous persons. The minister added, lest I am misunderstood, let me repeat, the insurgents who delude themselves as Muslims, whereas they are nothing more than bloodthirsty, rapacious killers who subscribe to no religion. Yes, they claim to be Muslims, but they subscribe to no religion, have recently started targeting Christians with a view to sow the seed of confusion between the two great religions. This did not in any way signify that they have stopped attacking Muslims, but they seem to now have a deliberate policy of attacking Christians. He said the killing of Andimi and 11 Christians on Christmas Eve, among others, fit into the new strategy. Notwithstanding, Mohammed said it was absurd and unfair to those who are daily battling the insurgents to insinuate a systematic campaign to persecute Christians in Nigeria. And then he goes on to lie on and lie on and lie on and lie on and lie on. So you can see the angle that the Nigerian government was taking as far back as 2020. Though they lied that in the past Boko Haram was not targeting Christians, but they admitted in 2020 that Boko Haram has adopted a strategy and a policy of attacking Christians, which is not a new adoption. The reality is that has always been their goal from the onset. From when they began, the goal was to target Christians and to wipe out the Christian population in the north and the middle belt. In fact, the goal is to Islamize Nigeria and to establish a caliphate in Nigeria. That has always been the goal of Boko Haram. And you don't achieve that by killing Muslims. You achieve that by killing Christians and other non-Muslims. And that has always been the goal of Boko Haram. Anyways, while we are still on the subject, this is, of course, we are going to continuously be on the subject throughout this live stream. But this is Iran. This is Iran. Iran chose to chime in and to give us their 2 cents on what is happening. And Iran said, Iran stands with Nigeria, no exceptions. Iran must, Nigeria decides its own future, period. Nigeria will decide its own future, even though it has already been invaded and invaded by radical Islamists in the northern part of the country, even though there is an ongoing invasion in Nigeria, even though there's already the interference of Islamic elements in the country, even though all of that is happening, even though all these atrocities are being committed in Nigeria, despite all of this, the person running this account on Twitter wants us to know that no, there should be no invasion, no interference. Nigeria decides its own future. Why they are being slaughtered? It's the dead Nigerians that will decide its own future. Why they are being slaughtered, and then they accompany the whole thing with an AI-generated footage of powerful stuff right there. Yeah, the way Iran is going to defeat the United States is through AI. Powerful stuff. But I like the response. Someone said, you can't even stand for yourself, referring to when the United States dropped three bombs on 3 nuclear facilities in Iran. It's like, you can't even stand for yourself. Eliza trying to trumpet like an elephant. I hope you remember this receipt. So I advise you to hide your face in shame and stay away from U.S. matter. You were shouting death to America, death to Israel, when all your senior officers were cut off from you. When all your senior officers were cut off from you, and you did nothing. Iran that cannot stand for itself. Few months ago, real Donald Trump destroyed your terror sites. You didn't stand for yourself. Why is everything about a particular religion destruction and backwardness? God created real Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump, the president of the United States of Nigeria. God created Donald Trump for a reason. And his will be done. So I say, you're using AI to do the standing. If Iran stands with Nigeria, the best thing they would do is to advise our government to sit up and stop the Christian genocide by Islamists and stop protecting terrorists. Otherwise, we will continue. We will welcome the U.S. forces to stop the killing. Iran won't matter, of course, and Iran will not tell Nigeria to do anything to stop the killing of Christians, because even in Iran, Christians have been persecuted in that very Iran. So there is that. Then we have this from this woman who was talking on the TV station in Nigeria known as TVC. I've forgotten what TVC stands for, but it's a television station in Nigeria. And this woman was, ranting and, giving us the peace of her mind. So let's listen to and she's wearing a hijab. So these are things that you need to put in consideration as we watch this video. So let's listen to this brilliant woman tell us how she feels.
I'm not saying there are no insecurity. It is too much to ignore. But to have one president just wake up one day without even engaging our president on this, no phone calls. Who even says that we have treaties that permits the US to come into our country unaided without permission? Are we not a sovereign nation anymore? That was the question. The fact that we do not have their military might doesn't give US that right to just declare war on our land. How sincere are they? Are they truly fighting for a group of people?
Yeah, you know the part that I like is I thought we are a sovereign nation, a sovereign nation that cannot protect its citizens, a sovereign nation that don't have monopoly on the use of force, and you have terrorists within your sovereign nation that have taken over communities and are running them as a government. As in, you have a sovereign nation with its own government, yet you have another government within the sovereign nation that is not answerable to the federal government or the officially recognized governments, even in the local, state, or federal level. That is going on in your country, and you're talking about sovereignty. You know, if you take all of that, I say you need permission. Is there any treaty? Who cares about treaty? Who cares about any of that? People are being slaughtered. Lives are at stake. Blood is being spilled relentlessly in this country, and you are still talking about treaties and permission. Yeah, somebody. I was about to say that, and somebody just said it in the live chat. Yes, TVC, the television station. You can see their logo here. The television station that this was broadcasted in, belongs to the president of Nigeria. So that is. That is how you know that they are saying the truth, nothing but the truth.
Marginalized? Is it today that we have been calling for marginalized people? Did the US not rescue their own team in Borno? Right after the Chibok girls were kidnapped, they came into this country without the right permission, went in, lifted their people and went out. Yeah. Who are the owners of the helicopters landing in our very, very resourceful sites, taking away resources?
They belong to the Chinese, you dumb moron. They belong to the Chinese. We have Adams Oshomole admitting this, that the Chinese are using choppers, landing on mining sites and taking the minerals, and that these people are Chinese. What stupid propaganda do you want to push now, TVC? The people landing on mining sites are people from the United States? Oh, God. You know, once you wear this hijab on your head, there is just this, it repels, this hijab and whatever Muslims put on their head is a truth repellent. It repels the truth away. Whenever the truth wants to come into your head, the hijab just repels it away. Whenever wisdom is coming towards you, that hijab just repels it away. It is wisdom repellent. That thing that you used to cover your head.
Unabated in this country. Is it not for the lack of our military might that we could not have confronted those people? When we sought their help, when we felt helpless and sought the help of international countries, nobody came. It is sad that we are thinking somebody will come, including Saudi, for those of you.
Oh, keep quiet. There have been times that the United, even under Obama, yeah, as much as I don't like him, even under Obama, they offered to help. Jonathan at the time refused the US help in dealing with Boko Haram. They offer all this. I don't like when people are making claims that are like obviously false. They offered to help. The reason why they didn't sell jets to your military is that your military is reckless. Your military, your air force will fly jets and then drop bomb on communities that are not supposed to be like that. Instead of dropping bombs on terrorists, they were mistakenly drop bombs on innocent communities and then apologize for it. That is the military, that is the air force you want to give your fighter jets. Imagine that it is in the news that the Nigerian army or the Nigerian Air Force for the 16th time has dropped bombs on innocent communities, and the aircraft that they used was aircraft that was sold to them by the United States. Imagine what that would look for how that would look like for the United States. And you are asking yourself, why did they refuse to sell airplanes to you? You have poorly trained pilots, poorly trained military personnel that cannot even do the right thing, always making costly mistakes. That is why even when they sold those aircraft to you, they gave you the condition that you must only operate it in the southeast. I mean, in the northeast. It can only be used in the northeast. And they did that because they don't trust your military. You are asking, why did they do it? You know one thing, you are doing this Candace Owens nonsense where you ask a question that the answer is obvious for any person who bothers, who really cares to, who really wants to know. The answer is obvious, and you're asking stupid questions. Why are they? Why did they? Why would they? Why? Keep asking why. Why, yeah. Nonsense.
You think this is a religious issue? Right now, Sudan is the way it is. Are you following Sudan at all? We have countries in Africa.
See, let me tell you. If Nigeria is to split tomorrow and the north is to separate from the south, you see those Fulanis, when these Fulanis that you people love so much, okay, when those Fulanis that you people love them with a passion, they are your brothers and sisters according to Pantami. Okay, to attack them is to attack the north, according to Buhari. If this country is to split tomorrow, like North Sudan separated from South Sudan separated from North Sudan, these Fulani militias will become your RSF. They will become your RSF, and they will do to you people what the RSF is doing to African Muslims in Sudan. Continue, you pontificate on. Keep doing what you are doing. Go on. Nonsense people.
Africa completely wiped out because of their resources. Congo, right now, what are they doing in Congo? Have somebody responded to the death happening in Congo? I pray for Africans because we really need that help. Nobody is coming to save us. Yeah, but if they will just...
Nobody is coming to save you. It's what you want to believe. The problem with you people is that when somebody is coming and is like, yeah, I want to do something about the issue, you're like, no, these people are not coming to save us. Why are they not going to Congo? Why are they not going to Sudan? Okay, they are coming to Nigeria now and you are rejecting their help. Nobody is coming to save us. Brilliant. Oh, this woman is what? Motivational speech. Nobody is coming to save you.
Leave us to manage our resources. Can they stop colonizing and neo-colonizing?
Oh, shut up. The person that is colonizing you is the person that gave you that hijab. Nah, I'm done with this woman. Before I begin to sound very Islamophobic. By the way, I want to recognize BT for the $2 super chat. Said they read Quran. We expect false claims. Of course. Why this woman and people like her will keep lying and lying and lying and lying? There are more lies to come. I've not even scratched the surface of the lies. I didn't look at the lie from Femi Fani-Kayode, a lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Here he is, disgracing his profession.
Care about the ransom you are going to pay. So it's not about your religion. Now, in the Middle Belt, particularly Benue and Plateau states, where this narrative, this campaign has been persecuted for quite some time, those who are killing there are either killing to expropriate land or killing to feed their animals when you have open grazing. Instead of losing sleep over Mr. Trump's statement. For me, the government has a duty to look inward. Where have you made errors?
Just look at this son that is preaching that's talking like an oil salesman, claiming that ladies and gentlemen, my wife is in the live chat. This is what my wife said. She said, "Oh, Frankie, the verse because you should buy him plenty of so he can calm down." My wife is trolling me in the comments. Anyway, just look at this man. He's saying that what is happening in the Middle Belt is struggle for land and grazing area, and that's what is happening. It's just struggle for land and grazing area. Let's assume that is the case. Let's assume that is the case. So why can't the government fix it? Why should in a region, in a country with the rule of law, A country that is supposed to be functional. Why should within that country different groups be engaging in this kind of fighting, in this kind of communal clash? Where are the security agencies to quell down this? Especially when you consider the fact that these Fulanis are it's not even a communal clash. Please, let me not even get distracted and follow him by that stupid logic that he's presenting. It's not a communal clash. The Fulani headers are not native to those regions, to those areas. They're not native to Plateau states. They're not natives to Benue State. Many of them are not even from the country. And you are saying that the solution is for the government to create grazing areas. Whose land would they take and give it to the Fulanis as grazing areas? You see the madness that these people are talking about. So, okay, the Fulanis are claiming people's land because of grazing area. So what should the government do? The government should come out and take people's land and give it to the Fulanis. So instead of the Fulanis doing it, the government can just do it. So instead of the Fulanis taking people's land for themselves, the solution is for the government to take the land for the Fulanis and give it to them. Because of what? Like the Fulanis don't know how to buy land. They don't know how to purchase it. They don't know that it is being done, that you buy land and then it becomes your own. If you want to own a grazing area, you want to have grazing area, then private individuals should buy it and own it. Not the government stepping everything. The government has this is the solution that the government should do. How about these Fulani headers? How about Arewa? How about Maiti Allah? How about Maiti Allah, the association? How about they come together, ask their fellow Muslims to give them money, or at least from the cows that they keep selling, they should gather enough funds and buy grazing areas. Buy lands that they will use as grazing areas. Build ranches for their members. How about that? No, it should be freely given to them by the government. The government should come and take the land of an indigene of a particular state and give it to a foreigner from Niger because he came with cattle. A brilliant, according to the brilliance of a senior advocate of Nigeria. All this white hair. Somebody will carry this amount of white hair and yet he cannot speak wisdom. And you are a lawyer, sir, disgracing your profession. Here he is again. Still has more to say.
That is the reason why he took on South Africa before Nigeria. But those Nigeria and South Africa are the two leading African countries. And so for him, we either sit or...
You see, I think what you know, sir, is just the law. You don't really know reality. South African is leading in which part of Africa? Did Africa your village? He did not take on Egypt that is leading. It's South Africa that is another failed state in the making that he took on. Because they are leading. You people like propaganda in this country. You people love propaganda more than Americans. Honestly, Nigerians they love propaganda. And their elite class are champions of propaganda.
Now, I'm going to look at the problems from the human rights perspective, not a diplomat. And my own position is that Mr. Trump has lied to the whole world by alleging Christian genocide in Nigeria. So it's a lie without any evidence to back it up. Now, he said about 3,100 people Christians have been killed in Nigeria. It's unfortunate and nobody can support even the killing of a citizen of this country. But when you look at...
First of all, this is supposed to be a lawyer, and he's claiming that Trump lied that there is a genocide of Christians in Nigeria. We've gone through all of Trump's statements. We did that at the beginning of this live stream. Did you see any place where Trump used the word genocide? Did you see any place where Trump said that there is a genocide of Christians in Nigeria? He said Christians are being attacked, Christians are being targeted, record numbers of Christians are being killed. He made all those claims, but did he say that genocide is happening in Nigeria? You are the one that is attributing that claim to Donald Trump. He never said that. Now, of course, I will not say if it is a lie to say that there is a genocide in Nigeria. But even Trump did not even make the claim. Now, concerning the claim of there is a genocide in Nigeria, and he said he made that claim without backing it up. He gave figures. And those figures are from international organizations that are monitoring what is happening in the country. You said it's a lie based on what? senior advocate of Nigeria, treating the problem of Nigeria as if it's another song from his son. It's another rap song from his son. You think Nigerian politics is an Afrobeat?
Narrative of Mr. Trump and match it with what is on ground. The killers, be it terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, armed robbers, and so on and so forth. Or people will simply call government. Do not care about your religion.
You are lying, sir. You see, the problem in this country is that the truth is far away from some people. You said the killers in Nigeria do not care about your religion. Go and ask people on the ground. Sir, you live in Lagos. You stayed in Lagos. Go and ask people on the ground. Go to IDP camps and see what is happening there. Go and see the churches that are being targeted. We saw the other day the news report of... let's look at it again. Let's look at this news report again. Let's look at this again. Imam Abubakar. Imam Abdullahi Abubakar. Let's look at his story again. You know, for those who, for people who will be making this ridiculous claim. This is the story of Imam Abdullahi Abubakar. Imam Abdullahi Abubakar is an Islamic cleric and humanitarian. He's best known for saving the lives of 262 non-Muslims, predominantly Christians, during an attack on his community by bandits. Imam Abdullahi Abubakar was born in 1939 in Bauchi, blah, blah, blah. Background. Imam Abubakar is the chief imam of this mosque in this local government area in Plateau State. In 2018, there was an attack in a particular area or a particular village where 80 people were killed by suspected bandits. The imam was able to save the lives of 262 people, predominantly Christians, from the Baron tribe by sheltering them in his mosque as attackers roamed the villages. Now the question is, if these bandits don't care about your religion, how come an imam was able to save non-Muslims? The report did not say he saved Muslims. The imam was not looking out for Muslims because Muslims didn't need to be looked out for. They were safe. The Muslims in the area were safe. The bandits were going after Christians. And the only way he could save those Christians was by hiding them or keeping them in his mosque. So that when the bandits came to his house and they saw those Christians in his mosque, they assumed that they were Muslims and left them alone. And this man is coming out to say the attack that is happening there, these bandits know no religion. They know no religion. Yet whenever they go out to attack, they are shouting Allahu Akbar. Why are you lying? Or at least if you don't know what is going on, you do the world a favor with your silence. It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. Just gave 35 rand for Mrs. Frank. Mrs. Frank, they decided to give it. Anyways, lastly, we have from the same individual. From the same individual. This is from the same Femi Folano.
Capacity to hunt down these criminals and these elements. That so much that some people are happy that Trump is the savior that can help us clear this. If Trump is our savior, Mr. Folano, let us all clap for him and let him come. Is that the case? Mr. Trump, the United States of America has never been a savior of any country.
Yeah, Syria will beg to differ. Syria will beg to differ. Israel will beg to differ. Donald Trump has never been the savior of any country. Israel will beg to differ. Syria will beg to differ. Okay? He has never been the savior of any country. Even just right after he was able to secure the peace deal in Gaza, he's not the savior of any. Even the Gazans will beg to differ. Even though Hamas is slaughtering civilians, but even they will beg to differ.
Iraq, they went for weapons of mass destruction at the end of the day.
Was it Trump? Olodo? Was it Trump? Was Trump in Iraq? Trump has never been the savior of anybody. Is that not what you said earlier? Or don't you listen to yourself? Let's hear you talk again so we can clearly see just how ridiculous you are.
He's our savior, Mr. Falana. Let us all clap for him and let him come. Is that the case? Mr. Trump, the United States of America has never been a savior of any country.
Okay, he said the United States of America.
Iraq, they went for weapons of mass destruction at the end of the day. Nothing of such was found. Syria, Libya, Afghanistan, wherever. The United.
Well, that's the only ones you can mention. Liberia, uncle. That is not an example for you. Japan is not an example for you. Korea is not an example for you. All these countries do not exist. Germany is not an example for you. The United States has never been a savior to anybody. Go and ask people in England. The reason why they are not speaking German right now is because of the United States of America. The reason why even Russia, the reason why Hitler has not expanded, Hitler was not able to expand so much to the east and take parts of Russia. Even the Russians themselves will have been speaking German by now. And they owe it to the United States. The United States has never been the savior of anybody. People whose history started in 1999. Whose understanding of world history started in 1999 are telling us about how the United States has never been a savior to anybody.
Has never gone to any of those countries. Intentions have not always been right. No. Intentions are there, but it has never been in favor of the host people. Now, like you are saying, America today has about 12 billion bullets. They used locally, some of them are used locally to kill its own citizens by gunmen. Others will have to go out. But you know, for me, the most painful aspect of it is that this country is almost being reduced to a pawn.
No, I'm tired of listening to this man. Let me listen to someone else, please. Let me listen. It's better to even listen to a pigeon at this point. Just listen to them cackle. Leave them just chipping at wood. It's better. It's a more pleasant sound. Now let's look away from Trump for a bit and focus our attention on the Nigerian government and what they have done and what is known by the Nigerian government and how they have been behaving. Let's look away from America and focus back again on the Nigerian government. Here is the governor of Zamfara State, and listen to what the governor of Zamfara State had to say. I don't think this is a recent interview. This is an interview from the past. Listen to what the governor of Zamfara State had to say.
Like I said, we know where these guys are.
Now, these guys he's talking about.
We know their parents.
The guys he's talking about that they know are terrorists, are the terrorists, are the bandits, are the extremists, are the gunmen, according to our senior advocate of Nigeria. Now listen to what the governor of Zamfara State is saying about them.
We know where these guys are.
Mm-hmm.
We know where they live.
Mm-hmm.
We know their parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know them as a government.
Of course we do. They live with the same community we live.
So why is it difficult to get them?
That is the $1 million question that I should ask you.
We are trying to understand.
Can you imagine? This is a governor and a journalist is asking him, you know all these people, how come you cannot, why is it difficult to get them? And he's like, that is a question for you, the journalist who is asking me. You are the one to figure it out. Well, if we cannot figure it out from you, who are we going to figure it out from? You know them. Why can't they be apprehended? Why can't they be arrested? Why can't they be fought against? When you know them, you know where they live. You know their parents. You know everything about them. Yet you cannot do anything to stop them.
Those of us who are now conversant with Zamfara have never been there, and we hear you as a chief security officer speak tonight to say you know these people, but yet you can't get them. It's a head scratcher. The story that was out there with the change of the commandant was that he raised some concerns and accusations that the outfit is not being equipped and is not being funded to fight the war you have set us up for. And then he was changed a couple of weeks after.
That is not true. If you had listened to the police when he was arrested and interrogated, it was a different story.
That's from the governor of Zamfara, letting us know that. So that's from the governor of Zamfara, letting us know that they know where these bandits are, and yet they are not able to do anything, to stop them. Maybe it's that fighter jet that they are waiting for. This is a Borno State lawmaker, and this is what he was saying. This video is old, but listen to what this lawmaker from Nigeria listen to what he was saying back then.
You cannot just sit down watching them to do whatever they feel like doing simply because they are professionals. You cannot talk to them. Give them target. During Jonathan, we brought mercenaries. They were about to finish Boko Haram. But because of our complacency and personal aggrandizement and personal interest, we asked them to go back.
Did you hear what he said? He said under Goodluck Jonathan, that was the government in charge of Nigeria, that was the administration in charge of Nigeria when Boko Haram started in 2009. Under Goodluck Jonathan's government, he said Goodluck Jonathan brought in mercenaries to deal with the problem, and that they were about to completely defeat Boko Haram. But because politicians in the north did not see it as politically advantageous for them, for Boko Haram to be defeated, they called and protested that these mercenaries should be taken away, and they were driven away. That is what he's saying. And this is a lawmaker in Nigeria from Borno State. Borno State is the state where Boko Haram started. Keep all of this in mind. Tomorrow, when the government is accused of being complicit, this is a lawmaker from Borno State saying that the government is being complicit. Tomorrow, they will tell us that it is Western propaganda.
And we are still battling with the issue. I was in Borno State as a member of a state House of Assembly when the mercenaries were in Borno. There were less than 30. They operate in a place like this. Everybody with a laptop before you, observing what is happening in the bush. The moment they discover an enclave, they will be able to identify how many weapons do they have, what kind of weapons are they using, how many AK-47 do they have, how many explosives do they have. They will take only 3 or 4 people in a chopper, go and clear everything. They will snap pictures before clearing them and bring back exhibit. We are about to finish it. And because of interest, personal interest, that if we allow mercenaries to finish this thing, we are not going to get anything. How much was the bill given by the mercenaries?
Do you understand what he's saying? Like, do you just understand what he's saying? He's saying these mercenaries, the men, they were not up to 30, but they were very sophisticated. They could monitor the activities of Boko Haram, know the enclave where they were hiding. And when they discover an enclave, all they have to send is 2 or 4 or 5 guys, 4 or 5 of their men to attack that village or attack that enclave. And they will attack them and attack them precisely and bring evidence that these people have been destroyed. And that they were doing it, it was very effective, it was very efficient. It did not cost much. And progress was being made. They were about to deal with Boko Haram decisively. But the North rejected it because of political interest. Because it was not to their political interest that Boko Haram would cease to exist. This is the complicity that we are talking about. This is the facilitation we are talking about. This is what Ted Cruz is talking about when he said the government is complicit and are complicit and are facilitators of these atrocities that is going on in this country. They keep saying they need more mercenaries, so that the US will give them will give them aid, and then they will squander it amongst themselves. They will collect loan and have a military security budget that will be larger than that will be running into trillions. And then you give it to this military personnel, and they squander it. So many of it end up in the coffers of Boko Haram. So many of it is used as ransom. Then you have Sheikh Gumi going from post to post, telling Nigerians that the best way to deal with this. The best way to deal with this is not to fight Boko Haram, but to negotiate with them. That to fight them will make matters worse. When these people know that fighting them is very effective, it works. It works. It's a very quick way to deal with them. But you have Sheikh Gumi going on every news room and broadcasting network in Nigeria, telling the Nigerian government that the best way to deal with this is to negotiate with terrorists. He has become their spokesperson. They call him as their negotiation chief to represent the Boko Haram. Will say, who is going to represent us? Sheikh Gumi. Bandits, who is going to represent us? Sheikh Gumi. And Sheikh Gumi will tell them that him being a representative is better. That these people need to be re-educated. And now the government is listening to Sheikh Gumi because it's politically advantageous for them. This is the reality.
Even Russia is employing mercenaries to fight for them, isn't it? Are we stronger than Russia? Is there anything wrong if you can bring somebody that can fight for you? There's nothing wrong in that. So I'm sorry if people are saying that National Assembly is not doing the needful, National Assembly is not providing the enabling laws. We have provided all the enabling laws. The enforcement of such laws is not ours. If government is not ready to implement, there is no way we can compel government. The only thing we can advise government. If government refuses to do it, there is no way you can force them. Because they have the machineries for implementation. You do not have.
And that is from a lawmaker from Borno State. Here is Shehu Gauba, the man who surprisingly has become the voice of wisdom. He's like Nigeria's, what's the name of that senator from, he's not a senator, but what's the name of that senator in the United States, that Democrat senator that was supporting Israel? John Federman. He's the John Federman of Nigeria. He's the guy that you did not expect to say something that makes sense, and now he is saying something that makes sense. And that is Shehu Gauba. And listen to what Shehu Gauba had to say.
In fact, in 2014, Nigerian opposition party, then the APC, were in the White House seeking for the same help on the same Christian genocide as a fallout of the Chibok girls.
Yes.
This is established.
Yes.
The second thing again is that...
Yes, the Buhari administration that said, oh, Boko Haram is not attacking Christians, went to the White House and told the White House that there is a persecution of Christians. They went there and they told them this very same thing that they are denying. When they were not in power, they went to the White House and they said it. Now the White House has finally decided to respond. And then they say what they told them earlier is a lie. And it is Western propaganda. As if you guys were not the one who went out there to tell them all of that.
Most recently, we acquired $346 million worth of weaponry from the US, and we are trying to send our military personnel to go and train as a factor of diplomatic relationship between Nigeria and the US. And US has been consistently, in addition to other partners, listed as supporting countries to help us in eradication of terrorism. And don't forget, it is a United Nations Convention on Counterterrorism that empowers the United States to become the global front or focal point in fighting against terrorism. And wherever a word terrorism was defined in a given area, that means US have right to protect. They call it a responsibility to protect R2P. They have right to invoke that R2P to get into that country and destroy that terrorism. Yeah. So what we should show in our own case in Nigeria is that we should show commitment and willingness to partner to eliminate the threat of terrorism, not completely condemn a hand that is coming to help us and then put a motion forward. We can negotiate with them. We can tell them, give us the weapons responsibly. We can discuss with them and acknowledge that this genocide is taking place. Yes, they say Christian genocide. Now we can justify to them that, look, it's not only genocide, it's not only Christians, Muslims also are affected.
But do you agree with the categorization that it's a genocide?
I actually, when I look at the damages, when you look at the total number of the people that have been killed over time in Nigeria, and they are killed defenseless in villages, sleeping in their homes, then what can you call this, for God's sake?
You think there's a genocide?
I think it's actually pure genocide, because you just come and kill people, just like that. And this thing has been happening. Several villages in Katsina destroyed.
When it happened,
several villages in Sokoto gone.
When it happened in Gaza, that's the same thing they said. It's a genocide in Gaza. Now it's happening in Nigeria. Now genocide. Is it genocide? What is genocide? Can we define genocide? Let's look at every available dictionary. When it was happening in Gaza, it was genocide. These same people, some of them that are denying this thing now, we are like, it's not genocide. Well, I mean, they called what was happening in Gaza pure genocide. Now it is happening in Nigeria and they are denying it, saying it is complex and complicated. It's hard to really decipher. This is a nuanced issue. All of a sudden, they care about nuance.
On several villages in Zamfara, every day.
This is from Michelle Galba. Here is a funny video from the past. This is how Nigeria in the past have been dealing with the issue of banditry. Just listen to how not from in the past. This is the current government policy with regards to dealing with banditry. It may look like a joke, but this is the reality. This is not a joke. Just listen to this.
That operatives of the service offered bandits bags of seized rice to save themselves from the criminals. He told reporters that the operatives had to offer 7 bags of rice to the bandits.
Can you imagine?
We are not working for only custom. We are working for the nation. And we are working for you people.
They are working for us. They are working for us.
I sacrifice my life to go to do some to enter the bush where the bandits are. If I tell you last time we have encounter with them, to the extent that they are a little bit friendly with us.
Friendly? He said he sacrificed his life. Hey, Jesus.
We seized 37 bags of rice. They say, okay, if we are to go, they have to take 7 bags. We give them 7 bags to save our life. So you see the risk I took.
How did we get here?
That operatives of the service offered bandits.
Yeah, they seized rice from Igbo man and carried it again and give it to bandits. This is the country we are living in. They are appeasing bandits by giving them bags of rice. That is a Nigerian government policy in dealing with insecurity. It's not going there guns are blazing. It's going there with bags of rice. Powerful stuff. Then here is this news report from Kaduna government that the Kaduna government offers bandits education, healthcare as initiative to end insecurity. So instead of going there guns are blazing, what does the Nigerian government do? The government of Kaduna has revealed that between 2015 and 2023, Kaduna State recorded 1,160 security incidents, resulting in 4,876 deaths and thousands of kidnaps. The Kaduna State kidnappings. The Kaduna State government said it has adopted a non-military peace initiative that provides bandits with access to education, healthcare, and livelihood opportunities instead of cash incentives as part of effort to restore peace in the state. The state commissioner for information, Ahmed Meyaki, disclosed this during a one-day workshop on peace journalism organized by the Correspondent Chapel of Nigerian Union of Journalists, Kaduna State Council. Meyaki said the initiative, tagged Kaduna Peace Model, represents a deliberate shift from confrontation to conversion, aiming at building peace through dialogue and community development rather than financial inducement. You cannot bomb peace into existence. You must build it with trust. Yes. You cannot bomb peace. You cannot bomb peace into existence. You have to build it with trust. He explained that the state government changed its strategy after years of devastating bandit attacks, choosing to focus on addressing the social and economic causes of insecurity. The turning point came when leaders of armed groups asked the government to reopen markets, schools, and healthcare centers that have been shut down because of insecurity. We agreed because they are basic human needs, not ransom payments. We didn't give them a dime. What we gave was life back to communities long abandoned. He revealed that between 2015 and 2030, what we've read, by 2021 alone, 1,192 people were killed and 3,348 kidnapped, leading to the closure of 142 schools and 192 healthcare facilities across several local government areas, he added. He said that the peace strategy, supported by the Office of the National Security Advisor, focus on intelligence gathering, dialogue, and social economic inclusion. He disclosed that through the joint ONSA Kaduna Peace Committee, more than 50 captives have been released without the payment of ransom or resorting to force. We are seeing trust where there was fear and cooperation where there was hostility, he said. He further noted that former bandit leaders such as Jambros and Yellow 1 Million now serve as community peace mediators. Hey! What a country. Let me read that paragraph. He further noted that former bandit leaders like Jambros and Yellow 1 Million now serve as community peace mediators. The peace... Kids, if you are watching this, the moral of the story is this: it pays to be a bandit, okay? If you're ever, some of you are out there trying to be lawyers, you're trying to be doctors, you're trying to be engineers, you're trying to be whatever it is you are wasting your time in school trying to become, where you can just be a bandit and tomorrow you will be a community peace mediator. They will even give you medal of freedom if you are while you are at it. Maybe if they get a Democrat elected in the US, in the United States, he may recognize your efforts in keeping the peace. The peace model works because it is owned by the people. Communities co-create peace instead of having it dictated by government, he said. He stated that over 500,000 hectares of land have been recovered under the initiative, with commercial activities returning to previously deserted areas. Markets have reopened, and between 20 to 30 cattle trucks now move weekly on roads. And we were once feared by travelers, he said. Our people wanted dignity, not pity. Once they saw sincerity, they embraced peace, he added. He emphasized that the Kaduna Peace Model is a continuous and inclusive process involving community leaders, clerics, and traditional rulers. Peace is cheaper and more enduring when people have a stake in it. The Kaduna experience proves that security without humanity is insecurity in disguise. Earlier in her remark, the head of Department Strategic Communication and Media Studies at Kaduna Polytechnic, Dr. Fatima Shuaibu, said Nigeria's recurring conflict was a result of mismanaged diversity and leadership failure. The media must deliberately emphasize solution-oriented stories and strengthen peace and social cohesion. When we misreport conflict, we deepen wounds instead of healing them, she said. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The same Kaduna that few weeks ago, people in the various communities were protesting, asking for the government to intervene, that bandits are destroying their community. Let me just tell you, they say this is working and, things are happening. This is from yesterday, right? This is from yesterday. Just look at the headline with regards to insecurity in Kaduna. Let's look at what we'll get, the recent headline. This is like a random search. Let me even do it here so you guys can see it. Let's just do random search. Bandit attack in Kaduna. This is from 17th of October. This is as recent as 17th of October. This is another one from the 24th of September. This is to show you that peace is, peace communication is working. This is one from yesterday, just 21 hours ago. This is one from 7 days ago in the same Kaduna. This is another one from 5 days ago. So let's just look at some of this. This is on the same Kaduna that they want us to believe that peace is reigning. This is bandits kill 9, injure several in Kaduna communities. At least 9 people have been killed and several others injured following an attack by armed bandits in this village in this local government area of Kaduna State. A traditional ruler in the village who confirmed the incident on Friday said the attack occurred on Thursday evening when the government invaded the community in large numbers. He said the assailants wielded high caliber weapons, opened fire on residents, killed 9 people on the spot, while several others sustained varying degree of injuries. According to him, the bandits also kidnapped an unspecified number of villagers and destroyed several properties before fleeing into the bush. He added that the corpses of the victims were being prepared for a burial in accordance with Islamic rite, while the injured were currently receiving treatment at a nearby hospital. The incidents came after several months of peace deals. The incident, read that, let us read the last paragraph. The incident comes after several months of peace deals between local communities and bandit groups operating in the area. Is that not interesting? That's to tell you that peace deals work. Oh, I just got... Sorry, sometimes it's hard to read. I just got three coffees by Solomon Ade. I'm not sure I saw that name well. Thank you, Solomon, for buying 3 coffees. I really appreciate it. I was unable to read your message because I can't see clearly with this stuff. But thank you. I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. Maybe I should get that stuff that automatically read messages, so I won't be straining my eyes and trying to understand what someone is saying. I will do that. I'll work on that. But back to what I was saying, just this last sentence. The incident comes after several months of a peace deal between local authorities and bandit groups operating in the area. That's after several months after this report. After this report of how these peace deals are, making a very good, huge impact. I'm very sure that in negotiating the release of those that were kidnapped, what's the name of that guy? Jan Bros and the Yellow 1 Million, their service will be needed. Their service will be needed 100% in negotiating the release of those that were kidnapped. And of course, we shouldn't use bombs. We should use peace negotiations. What a wonderful country. And that is from when now? This happened on the 17th of October. Now, this one is from the 24th of September. A resident, Mohammed Sabiu, who reported the incident to Sahara Reporters' New York office, said the assailant struck a large number, heavily armed. Bandits launched an attack on this village in this local government area of Kaduna State in the early hours of Wednesday, leaving 1 resident dead and another injured. A resident who reported the incident to Sahara Reports News of New York office said the assailant struck in large numbers, heavily armed. They killed our brother, Sabitu Hamza, and badly injured this person, who was rushed to the hospital, the resident said. In a related report, Sahara Reporters on September 8 highlighted residents of this area in Kaduna State expressing frustration over what they described as persistent neglect. The community said bandits' attack and kidnappings continue unabated, yet receive little media attention. In a statement signed by Reverend Father Agbo Gabriel, residents lamented feeling abandoned, noting that they have endured more than 2 years without reliable electricity and largely depend on solar power. They lamented that while insecurity worsens, their suffering was largely underreported. According to the statement in the early hours of Saturday, September 7, 2025, gunmen attacked this area in this district, killing 8 people, injuring several others, and burning homes and properties. Other communities, such as this one, and this one, were also listed among areas repeatedly attacked by armed groups, leaving residents displaced, traumatized, and living in despair. But of course, we need to understand that dialogue is working. And this is to show that dialogue is really, really working. The improvement from dialogue is amazing. It's amazing. It's hard to describe because it doesn't exist. And that is why it is amazing. Okay? Here is another report that we just saw. This is just random Google search. Okay? Random Google search. This is from the 5th of November. 5th of November, the same day that they are telling us that dialogue is working. This development group, a group that represents this community in Kaduna State, has raised alarm over a rising spate of insecurity within their locality. In a statement on Tuesday, this spokesperson for the union, said several communities in Chikun local government area have continued to suffer devastating attacks, kidnaps, and destruction of farmlands by armed herdsmen and bandits. GDU wishes to express deep pain and concern over the security situation that has left this community vulnerable, traumatized, and economically crippled, the statement reads. The spokesperson noted that the security situation in this community is deteriorating and called for decisive government intervention to tackle the criminals. No, they should not do that because you can't bomb your way into peace. Okay, it is through dialogue. You cannot take the you cannot carry out decisive intervention. That does not work. Okay, what works is dialogue and negotiation. This is what we get from Nigeria. Another report. I'm just giving you, this is just from the past 2 months. You can see, we just did the Google search. So it's not me trying to doctor anything. It is happening live in front of you. This is from October 30th, 2025, last month, just a few days ago. The United Church of Christ in Nigeria, popularly known as HECAN, have confirmed the killing of one of its pastors, Reverend Yahaya Kambasia, and the kidnap of more than 20 residents of Farin Duse community in this local government area of Kaduna State by suspected bandits. I'm very sure that Jambros what's their name again? Jambros and Yellow 1 Million will help in the release of those people because community negotiation, you can't bomb your way into peace. It's through dialogue that things are going to get better. Alhamdulillah. Here's another report that we just Googled. Terrorists attack southern Kaduna communities, kill 5 residents in fresh bandit attacks. This happened this month, in 2025. This month. Terrorist attack, let me increase the font so you can see this very clearly. Terrorists attack a southern Kaduna community, killing at least 5 residents and leaving others critically injured. The terrorists, commonly referred to as bandits, stormed this area in southern Kaduna, shooting randomly and hacking victims to death, macheting them to death. In other bandit attack across Kaduna, traders and villagers were kidnapped, including an Anglican priest and his wife. Southern Kaduna residents say bandit attack have continued unchecked. But of course, the authorities want us to know that dialogue is working. Alhamdulillah. So you can see the Nigerian government is doing well. They are doing well. They are using dialogue. And as you can see, dialogue is working. Dialogue is what? Everybody, please say in the comments, dialogue is working. Put it in all caps. Dialogue and negotiations with terrorists is working wonders. Now let's look at some attacks that is happening in other parts of Nigeria. And these are attacks that we don't see headlines for. We only get them from Twitter users who are in the area reporting what is happening. Because I guess Nigerian media houses are overwhelmed at this point. They don't even know which attack to report and which one to not report. Yesterday, Islamic extremists set fire to a Catholic church in Benue, Nigeria, and killed several Christians. Yet, they are still trying to gaslight us into believing that there is no terrorism happening in this country, or that it is not targeted at Christians, of course. And yes, not a single main media has carried it. Yes. This is happening in Benue, the same Benue that they want us to know that the government is committed to security. It just happened, and nothing has been done about it. That is from Benue State. Now this one is from this one is from Kaduna. This one is from Kaduna. Sad news. Yesterday night, not Kaduna, from Sokoto. Rather, it's not from Kaduna, it's from Sokoto. Sad news. Yesterday night, bandits attacked this community in this district, in this local government area of Sokoto State. A young woman was reportedly raped by a group of 8 men while returning from this area. Residents say such attacks have become frequent with no accountability. The community is calling for urgent government intervention and protection for women and girls in the area. This just happened yesterday night. And this news article is from when? Okay, this is from not yesterday, not our yesterday. This happened on the 3rd of November, 2025. Happening in Sokoto State. Here's another one. This one happened in Niger State. This happened in Niger State. Yesterday night, and this is by yesterday night, I mean the 4th of November. Yesterday night, bandits killed people in this area, in this community, in this local government area of Niger State. In a separate incident, 3 people were left injured in this other local government area by bandits group. The relentless attack in this zone, in Zone C of Niger State, have reached alarming levels with local residents living in constant fear. The persistent insecurity in this area demand immediate and decisive action from the government to protect innocent life and restore peace. This is happening. This is from Niger State. Now here is one from Katsina. This is from Katsina State, home of the former president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. And this is breaking yesterday night. Everyone is just yesterday night. This is from bandits stormed this area in Katsina State. They killed 2 prominent community figures, Alhaji Bishi and his brother Alhaji Surajo. This person. And injured 1 person. At least 30 villagers were kidnapped in the raid. This comes weeks after Bakori local government area entered a peace deal with bandit leaders. Local leaders from Bakori local government with bandits commanders during the earlier peace parley in Kakumi. As you can see, this is proof that peace is working. After engaging in a peace deal, you can see these are the terrorists. These are the terrorists. These people with ammunition. This is the terrorists, and this is the community leaders entering into a peace deal with the terrorists. And what is the effect of that peace deal? Is that they have been attacked, and 30 people from that community have been kidnapped. And this shows you that dialogue is the solution. Negotiation is the way forward. Alhamdulillah. Now this is from Kwara State. From Kwara State, ladies and gentlemen. From Kwara State. This probably happened yesterday and is being reported today. Just not yesterday, day before yesterday, and it's been reported today. 4 Kwara residents kidnapped as terrorists attack community near Kogi border. Terrorists have kidnapped 4 people in Karo community located in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State, which share a boundary with Yaba West local government area of Kogi State. Sahara reporters learned that the incident, which occurred on Tuesday, has heightened tension in the area as residents continue to live in fear of renewed attacks. This latest kidnappings comes just days after another group of Yaba West residents were kidnapped on this market day while returning to this place, highlighting the worsening insecurity along the Kwara-Kogi border region. So this is the reality. And of course, they have to engage in dialogue because that's the way forward. This is killing in Benue State. The same Benue State again. The same Benue State that they want to tell us that the Nigerian government is on the matter. They are on the matter. Okay, they are doing everything. They are very committed. And as you can see, the attacks have reduced. Things is no longer as bad as it used to be. You know, there is improvement. This is the improvements we are talking about. Armed herdsmen kill 7 residents in sustained attack on Benue community. Okay, at least 7 people have been confirmed killed in a sustained 2-day attack. 2-day attack. 2 days. Ongoing. In a sustained 2-day attack in this village, in this district, in this local government area of Benue State by suspected armed herdsmen, of course. The chairman of the local government area, Ado Gabriel, who confirmed the incident on Wednesday, said the attacker struck on 2 consecutive days, leaving behind scenes of horror and destruction. 2 people were killed yesterday, and the governor has sent his special advisor to security along with troops to contain the attack. Gabriel said, according to Channels TV. We visited the scene where soldiers of Operation Wheel Stroke had also been stationed, but the headers returned in a Gestapo operation on Tuesday evening to attack the community again, killing 5 additional persons, while your security agents were present. The presence of security agents meant nothing. They were there and attacks were taking place. Of course, the reason why that happened, despite the fact that security personnel were present, is because you cannot bomb your way to peace. Okay, it's dialogue. Dialogue is the way forward. Alhamdulillah, dialogue is the way forward. Here's another attack in the same Benue. This time, it led to the death of a pastor. That pastor should have engaged in dialogue, but because he did not engage in dialogue, he is now dead. Let it load. This is a... Sorry, give it a moment. I don't know why it is not loading. What is going on? Okay, it is. All right. After this... No. This is not it. This is not it. Okay, this is it. Um, 11 hours ago, this was reported on, that's yesterday. 11 hours ago, pastor of Flaming Fire Ministry, Simon Ibach, killed last night by Islamic Fulani herdsmen in this community, the same community that we just reported that there is ongoing conflict for 2 days. This pastor was killed. And that is because he did not engage in dialogue. And there are many horrible stories like this. There are some these are present stories. I'm showing you present stories to let you know that the situation has not changed. But let me tell you some things from the past, okay, that gives you an idea of what is happening in Nigeria. Or maybe should I save that for tomorrow? Should I save that from tomorrow, or should I go ahead and give you things from the past, news stories from the past about, as in tragic news stories from the past that gives you a scenario of what is happening, that paints a perfect scenario of what is, or paint a perfect picture rather, of what is happening in northern Nigeria and in the Middle Belt, and in Sharia-compliant hellscape in this country. Let me know what do you guys want. Should we save that for tomorrow, or should we do it right away? What do you guys say? Someone said it's up to you, Frank. Tomorrow, Burning Wolf said. All right, I think, let me know what you think. I'm waiting. Waiting for the next 10 live chat to let us know what we are going to do. James Jordan has said it's up to me. Burning Wolf said tomorrow, so I'm waiting for others. What do you say? What say you? John said it's up to you, Frank. I'm okay either ways. Burning Wolf has repeated tomorrow. Spend time with your lovely wife. So Jack is saying tomorrow. All right. Okay, so I will take it that we'll talk about it probably tomorrow. But before that, there are just a couple of things we are going to look at, and then we'll call it a day. We are going to look at a leaked video from Isa Ali Pantemi, and then we are going to look at 2 unrelated news stories. All right. Majority has it tomorrow. All right, before we end this, let's look at this from Isa Pantemi. You know, Isa Pantemi is one interesting figure in Nigeria. This was the former Minister of Telecommunications in Nigeria. He qualified for that role by virtue of being an imam in Nigeria, the most radical kind of imam in Nigeria. And that was the qualification that the government of the day at the time saw. And they were like, yeah, this person is good to be a minister in this country. So it shows you that, again, being a terrorist sympathizer, a radical imam in Nigeria is the pathway to success, okay? Is the pathway to success. You people who are studying medicine or not nursing or whatever professional course you are studying, you need to drop out and become a terrorist. I'm telling you, it works like magic. Relocate wherever you are in the world. Come to Nigeria, relocate, become a full-time terrorist, and tomorrow you become a community leader. And if you play your cards well, you might end up with a political appointment. Okay? Of course, I'm joking before somebody will say I'm being serious. But here's Issa Pantemi. One thing I like about many of the politicians in the North. In the South, one thing that can, that would be like an indictment or kind of like a scandal about a politician is, he was caught stealing money, or he was caught in a leaked sex tape, doing something with his, doing something with one girl that something he was found somewhere he's not supposed to be at, saying something he's not supposed to say that is kind of ranchy and something like that. But in the North, while in the South you have leaked footage of somebody's sex tape, for example. You have that in the South. In the North, you have leaked audio of somebody just showing how much he loves Allah and how much he loves terrorism. And a good example of that is Issa Pantemi. Here is 3 minutes, 24 seconds of Issa Pantemi talking like a renowned terrorist. Keep in mind that this person was a former minister of Nigeria. He said, we are praying to God to answer all our prayers. It is our right and obligation before all Muslim leaders, politicians, government appointees, academics. All of us should not fold their arms and watch helplessly how they shed our Muslim brothers' blood and cheat them in vain. Now, you might be wondering, what is he reacting to? Guess what he's reacting to in the comments. Just guess. What do you think he's reacting to when he said that we cannot fold our arms and watch helplessly how they shed our Muslim brothers' blood and cheat them in vain? What do you think the Muslim brothers' blood he's referring to? What do you think he's referring to? Guess in the chat. People in the chat, let me know quickly. I'm waiting for you guys. It will amaze you. It will amaze you what the answer is. He's going to say it later, but I want you guys to guess. Let me know. Issa Pantemi is the man. He is the man. That we've never had a politician like this. He is renowned. The future generation of Nigerians will sing his praises. He will be remembered for countless generations to come. History books will write about his legend, his greatness, his aspiration for peace and progress and tolerance, especially religious tolerance. So just guess. Somebody said bandit blood. Somebody said he's referring to those spied by soldiers. Actually, he's referring to Boko Haram. Killed Boko Haram fighters. Yes, he's referring to killed Boko Haram fighters. That's who he's referring to as the shedding of that other Muslims cannot sit idly, helplessly, and watch our Muslim brothers' blood being spilled and cheat them in vain. Boko Haram is what he is referring to.
Gwamnatin musulmai haƙƙi ne akan jami'an tsaro musulmai dole su tsaya su ga an bi kadun jinin ƴan uwanmu da aka zubar dole su tsaya su ga an bi kadun ƴan uwan jininmu da aka cuta jinin alade ya bi shi.
He said even if the Boko Haram fighters commit a crime, but can we justify the way and manner they are being killed? This is the former minister. He said, even if the Boko Haram fighters commit a crime, but can we justify the way and manner they were being killed? That is his question to his fellow Muslims.
Daraja. Duk da yaran nan yan Boko Haram sun yi laifi, amma kisan da aka musu adalci ne. Ka duba yadda ake
He said, just look at how they are killing people as if they are shooting pigs, even though they commit a crime. Why the extrajudicial killing? Do you know what he's calling extrajudicial killing? Is that you went to an enclave where Boko Haram is camping, and you try to apprehend them, and then they open fire against you, and then you shoot back, and then you are able to decimate their camp, kill everybody there. That is what he calls extrajudicial killings that is killing his Muslim brothers and sisters like pigs. This is Issa Pantemi, former Minister of Telecommunication. He said, take them before the law for fair trial. People who are shooting at you, instead of shooting back at them, you wait. If you cannot capture them, you let them go free, because they have to be taken before the law for fair trial. You caught someone sleeping and you kill them. If it's not Muslims that undergo such treatment, who else? And he says this nonsense with tears. Like, you can see the cry in his voice as he's saying this thing with so much passion. This guy believes it to his bone. You're looking for a terrorist in Nigeria. If Nigeria want to carry out strikes on terrorists and they did not hit Issa Pantemi, they have not finished their job. If the US rather want to carry out terror and precision strike against terrorists, and one bullet does not hit Issa Pantemi, you are not done with your job.
Mutanen Neja Delta sun yi wannan, sun kashe jami'an tsaro, sun saci mukamai, sun kashe Turawa, sun yi kidnapping Turawa, amma kun karbe su.
He said, I was carried away. He said the Niger Delta people did something similar to this. They massacred people, steal weapons, killed expatriates, and kidnapped some of them. And then he said, yet you still accept them back, open a ministry for them, gave them a minister, and put them on a monthly salary pay without work. Even when it happened, I will criticize that as much as I will criticize what is happening in the north. But the Niger Delta militants were killed also under Obasanjo. It was a bloodbath, as in bloodbath in the south, in the south. Obasanjo was not treating Niger Delta militants with kid gloves. And this is not just Obasanjo. It's the same thing with Sani Abacha. I mean, killing of Southerners for militancy has been ongoing in this country for a very long time. How many of them were slaughtered, killed by the military? Now that it is happening to you, you are crying. He said the militants did not harm compared to what Boko Haram boys did. But why would they do something like this? Why selective justice? Can you imagine? It's now comparison, compare and contrast. Who is worse? Boko Haram that use suicide bombers, that force girls that they kidnap to strap themselves with bomb and walk into a market and blow themselves to pieces. That Boko Haram is the Boko Haram that didn't do worse than MEND in the South. This is how you know that the person that is talking is just filled with Islamic lies. I'm saying it with so much passion as if what he's speaking is the truth. And this person later became Minister of Telecommunications in Nigeria.
Selective justice?
That is from Issa Pantemi. Please, let me go on record to say I'm not calling for the execution of Issa Pantemi. I know I said earlier, and I have to retract it because at least someone will say, hey, Frank said, let me retract the statement. I'm not saying people should go out and kill him. He should be tried, okay? He should be tried. He's somebody who should be suspected of sympathizing with, and also there is likelihood that this is the kind of person who supports these terrorists, even financially and otherwise. He's a suspect. As far as terrorism in this country is concerned, Issa Pantemi is a suspect. Now, I'm not saying that extrajudicial killings should be conducted to eliminate Issa Pantemi. Please, I know it may sound like an exaggeration, but that was not what I was calling for. I was not calling for that. I need to state it expressly. For the Nigerian government to come from my behind. I did not call for a former minister to be executed. I am not calling for that. I'm just saying, if you want to fight these people, it will not be shocking if Issa Pantemi is one of them. And insecurity in this country is not going to be complete if people like that are not tried or investigated for their involvement in Islamic terrorism in this country. Especially when you consider the things they've been saying in the past. So that's the point I was trying to make. The second thing that I want us to look at, this has nothing to do with what is happening in Nigeria, but this is something that happened in Egypt. It's something that happened in Egypt. This is a news story from Egypt. Very interesting news story, by the way. Justin, violence erupts in this town in Egypt over pork. A few days after a sheikh in this district in West Nile sub-region made inflammatory comment about pork, its sellers and eaters, youthful mobs are attacking pork joints and Christian-owned hotel they are accused of serving pork. The police and the military responded by firing tear gas and live bullet to disperse the youth mob. The situation remained tense, according to our reporters. And here is a clip to accompany it. I don't know if this is Egypt or this place looks like something that is happening in Nigeria. Where is West Nile sub-region? Let me be sure where this is located. Yombe district, West Nile sub-region. Let me be sure before I say something that is not true. Where is this located in? Okay, this happened in Uganda. This is in Uganda. Home of Zora Mamdani, of course. So this is not Egypt, rather it's Uganda. Sorry, Uganda. All right, so that's the news story I wanted to share with you guys. And then lastly, this one is from Somalia. I am very sure it is from Somalia. So this is in response to when Somalia, for a brief moment, banned child marriage and set the age of consent in Somalia to 18. Now, this happened for a brief moment. This policy did not last 24 hours. But within that 24 hours where the policy was in place, here is an imam from Somalia, and this is his response to the policy. Sorry. Yeah, this is the imam, and this is his response to the policy. He said, yesterday was a dark day for Somalia. A very dark day. Yesterday what the parliament had brought forth is not something we will accept. We Somalis are 100% Muslims. Somalis, please fear Allah. We need to look into this matter urgently. Where is the Somali Islamic scholars? Where are the scholars? The scholars are the heirs, inheritor of the Prophet. We listen and take guidance from you. What's happening? Why are they all silent? Where is Sheikh Sulmi? Let me reduce the volume of this so that you guys can hear me. Where is Sheikh Sulmi? Is he not alive? Please, where are the sheikhs? Please, I need to increase the volume of this so that you can hear him crying. Where are the sheikhs? Are we not fearful of Allah? We need to go back to Allah. Where is Sheikh Mohammed as she, or however his name is pronounced? Where is Sheikh Musad? We need to fear Allah. We need to fear Allah. We cannot easily accept this matter. These people will ruin us. We need to fear Allah. We cannot accept this. 18-year-old being the age of consent is a kuffar mindset. Wow. The age where their children mature. We mustn't follow them. The Prophet commanded us to fight the mushrikeen or the mushrikun, non-Muslims. We are ordered to combat them, not to follow them. We must fear Allah. We must fear Allah. We must fear Allah. That is an elderly man, an old man, crying, weeping, because the age of consent in Somalia for a brief moment was set to 18 and child marriage was banned in Somalia. That's an old Muslim, and you can see with that his behavior that he that he's a Salafi. So this is the effect of the Muslim Brotherhood, ladies and gentlemen. Somalia is what you call a democracy, of course. And so yeah, that is all I have for you. I also have one more thing for you guys, but that is what I'm going to use to close. And you don't want to miss it, okay? You do not want to miss what I have for you. Okay, it's a video that is very funny. And that is what we'll use to close. It's not funny as much as it is concerning, right? But funny, concerning, either way. You know what? Let me just play it. And then I'll use it to close also. I'll play it while while you can still see my face, and then use it to close as well. So still hang on, okay? We are not done.
I pledge to Islam, my religion, to be faithful, loyal and honest, to serve Islam with all my power. And I pray for Allah's assistance. I have testified that there is no God. I have testified that there is no God. There is no God except Allah and Muhammad Rasulullah. I have promised to be a Muslim. I have promised to help Islam. I have promised to work for Islam so that I may gain internal bliss. Oh, you brothers, jihad is calling.
Say what?
Oh, you brothers, jihad is calling.
Again?
Oh, you sisters, jihad is calling.
You mean it?
So that we may gain internal bliss.
Okay.
We want Quran as constitution.
Hey.
We want Quran as constitution.
Okay.
We want Hadith as constitution.
Uh-huh.
We want no more accept the theories.
Banga.
Human theories are barbaric. Human theories are barbaric. Human theories are aimless theories.
Alhamdulillah.
We want Quran as constitution, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. That is from the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. Let us, for those who may not know, let us Google what the Muslim Christian, no, not Muslim Christian, let me be correct. The Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. What is the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria? As you can see, it's children that are singing, so it has something to do with children, school children. Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. The Muslim Student Society of Nigeria was launched officially at this mosque in Lagos on the 30th of May, 1954. Within a year of formation, its branch spread to cover more schools in Lagos, Abeokuta, Ibadan, Ilesha, Ijebu-Ode, and Ikorodu. 2 years later, the society's presence covered virtually all government schools in the north. Its first conference was held in 1955, which was declared open by Oba Adeniyi Adele of the Second of Lagos, Brother Abdul Latif, and Brother A.R.A. Sahid. We are elected as the first national president and secretary general, respectively, of the society. The Muslim Student Society of Nigeria has 2 zones to easily for easily coordination of its activity and program: A zone and B zone. The A zone comprises of all northern states, while the B zone comprises of all states from the south, southwest, south-south, and southeast part of Nigeria. Following the Chibok girls' kidnapping, the president of the Muslim Student Association of Nigeria then called on Muslims to fast and pray in order to seek Allah's intervention in the precarious matter. So you see, this association is a very wonderful association that is all over the country. And you can see that their song is the best. It's Grammy Award winning, very peaceful. You can see them calling for telling their brothers and sisters that Quran, jihad is calling. Jihad is calling. It's calling on them. and that they want Islam as constitution. They want Quran as constitution. They want Hadith as constitution, so that they might gain eternal bliss. This is something that many students in Nigeria recite during their assembly, while they are doing assembly, in the north especially. That's where this is being recited, calling for jihad, and they're calling for an Islamic state in this country. And tomorrow we wonder where Boko Haram is coming from, and wonder how Boko Haram can have anything to do with Islam. Meanwhile, we have schools like this. So yeah, that is the last thing I wanted to point out. I want to appreciate everyone for joining me live, listening to me and everything. Whenever you see me alone on the screen, you know that I am about to close. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for joining us live. This is an amazing live stream. I hope you've been entertained. I hope you've been informed. I hope you've learned a lot about the country. I hope you understand a lot more about Islam and how it operates, and its goal of just destroying every society that it comes into. But beyond just Islam, I also want to use this opportunity to let you know that there is something greater than the demon of Islam, and that is the power of Jesus Christ. And only that can save. If you're a Muslim and you are hearing my voice and you are like recognizing just how destructive your religion is, I want you to know that there is something better, and it's found in Jesus Christ. If you are non-religious or a traditionalist and you are watching this and wondering what can be the ultimate solution, how can anyone be saved? Well, salvation is not in this world, but in the world to come there is salvation for those who believe in Jesus Christ, and that is what my message is for you. And to believers who are watching me, my message is hold the faith and don't be ashamed of the gospel, and pray for the prosperity of the gospel in Nigeria. The solution to everything we've talked about in this country is that the gospel will prosper. There are many solutions people can talk about. Many solutions we can talk about: military intervention, dividing the country. Some have, posited that, and many other stuff like that. But I think the ultimate solution is in the prosperity of the gospel. My motto these days have been, in the prosperity of the gospel, you will prosper. In the prosperity of the gospel, you will prosper. So we should pray that the gospel will run its course in this country, and that even the Islamists themselves will come to know Jesus Christ. Even the radical Muslims themselves, even Isa Pantemi, will come to know Jesus Christ. That the gospel will flow throughout the north. That these people will be converted, that God will arrest them. And there's nothing God cannot do. He can change the radical of the radical. He changed Paul, on his way to Damascus. He can do that to any one of these radical Islamists. And that is our prayer, that these people will come to know the gospel, to know the one true God and Jesus, his only begotten Son. And that they will come into the bliss of living a life in peace, at peace with God, and free from the power of sin and the power of trying to walk your way up, trying to earn salvation when it has been freely given. And that is my prayer also to everyone who listens to me, that you people will come to know the one true God and his Son, Jesus Christ. That you people will come to know him, you enter a relationship with him, and that you will experience the salvation, the power of salvation in the gospel. That you will be free from your sin, you'll be free from the weight and guilt of sin, and that you'll be translated into the kingdom of light, into the kingdom of righteousness. And you will know what it's like to be a friend of God in this world and in the world to come. And that is my prayer and my hope for you. God keep you. God continue to prosper every one of you. Crown you with his peace. Crown you with his love. His goodness and mercy will continue to follow every one of us. Everyone hearing the sound of my voice. Even everyone in this nation. All the days of our life. And we will not cease to dwell in his house forever and ever. Amen. And by way of closing, we'll still close with that beautiful song. Thank you all for joining me. And until we meet again, peace and God bless. And every other thing that goes with that. All right, guys. Have fun. Have a wonderful day. And God continue to keep you.
pledge to Islam, my religion, to be faithful, loyal and honest, to serve Islam with all my power. And I pray for Allah's assistance. I have testified that there is no God. I have testified that there is no God. There is no God except Allah and Muhammad Rasulullah. I have promised to be a Muslim. I have promised to help Islam. I have promised to work for Islam so that I may gain internal bliss. Oh, you brothers, jihad is calling. Oh, you brothers, jihad is calling. Oh, you sisters, jihad is calling. So that we may gain internal bliss. We want Quran as constitution. We want Quran as constitution. We want Hadith as constitution. We want no more accepted theories. Human theories are barbaric. Human theories are barbaric. Human theories are aimless theories. We want Quran as constitution, inshallah.